Right. Trying a few things new here.
I gotta sit like this. So I'm not.
Howdy Nuggers. There we go. Look at that. We
perfect.
did it. We've done everything. Y'all have no idea what's going on right
As
now.
long as this computer does not crash.
Yeah. Doing a lot right now. So this is our first time being on Facebook Live to do an episode. So
this is gonna be cool.
This like
raw.
This is the stuff that doesn't get edited out.
No, we're going in raw.
We are going in raw. Do what we do. Non-alcoholic for the alcoholic. Alcoholic for the non-alcoholic. See how that works out?
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, no kidding. Try and keep up. All right.
Just to clarify, this is the first time I have a drink with you.
Yeah.
Since your big steps. So
Congratulations, Brad.
thanks. I don't know. I don't want to influence you. And I have that way with people.
Yeah, don't worry. Everyone always acts so weird around me now. It's like, oh, is it all right if I... Yes, fuck's sakes.
But to some people, it would bother them, right? So, like...
Yeah, fucking weak alcoholics. I'm a strong one.
I think it's a respect thing. That's all.
Okay, we'll call it that. We'll call it that.
Yeah. Respect,
all right.
Like some players don't have.
Yeah, like...
Where do we start?
Like Sean Avery, who I'm starting to like.
Oh, no.
I forgot. I had this conversation with somebody recently. I was like, after listening to him on Chicklets, like, I'm starting to like him.
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah, and then I told him that he bitched about being a dad for fucking half a minute on the episode. And
no, he just said he was happy that he waited till he was like 40 to have a kid.
Yeah, and then he said that he gets pissed on like every day.
Yeah.
And
it's okay, but he's honest. And you know what? I really appreciate his honesty. Like, and he's pretty funny. He's kind of a garbage human being for a lot of things.
You have a friend that was really honest and told us about his trip to Thailand when he went by himself and didn't have to tell us a thing. Okay? Just because you're honest doesn't mean you have to actually say what's going on.
I think I have to tell that story now. And I won't mention the guy, but if you're listening, you know exactly who you are. So if you go to Thailand and you pick up a chick that's way too beautiful, it's not a chick. I'm sorry. It's probably not, because apparently he went for the little, you know the play you used to make when you were single. You kind of, just check out the situation, if you know what I'm saying. And he said he thought he was rubbing a really big clit. Turns out it was a dick.
He got the whole package.
And then he told us during one of our hockey drafts, like our annual Sicky Snipers hockey draft, and it's like, why would you say that? Especially when you're with your boys doing a draft. Like, you know that you're going to get heckled, because the rest of the time,
right? It
was like any time, like, because you chirp each other during every pick, totally, pretty much. Yeah. And every chirp that he had, we'd say, let's just say his name is John. It's not his name. You just say, whatever, John, you touched dick. So it was the easy trump card, yeah.
Well, and then he tells that story at your stag.
Yeah.
And once again, we're like, dude, you went there by yourself. You came home by yourself. You didn't have to tell a soul, and you told everyone.
That's why it's like if a tree falls in the forest, but no one sees it, did it really fall?
Exactly.
Like, seriously, man. Yeah. Come on. Oh, that's good stuff. All right. So we're this is our first podcast since the Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, since our prediction.
We agreed Dallas in 6, so Tampa Bay in 6 it was.
Yep.
Yeah, for bubble hockey, I think that there was a lot of speculation about, like, would there be an asterisk?
Asterix?
What the
Asterix?
fuck? Would there be that next to the Stanley Cup champion of this year? And I think that just seeing the battle and, like, all the injuries, like, that have come out that everyone has went through, like, that was the hardest Stanley Cup to ever win.
The thing is that the injuries are the same. The level of hockey is the same. The only thing that's different is, there's no travel. But now you don't get to spend half the games at home with your family. Mm-hmm. So if you're kind of ailing an injury through the finals, and you know that, I get to go home and see my kids tomorrow, just that mentality part of it. Sure, like, there was some family that came to the bubble for the conference finals they were allowed to come? There
was something that, they kept showing Corey Perry's wife. Yeah. Which, man, how happy am I that guy didn't win another cup.
But anyways, it makes it harder. I really do think that cup was harder to win, and kudos to Tampa for their first Stanley Cup.
Yeah, you bet. And what?
You didn't even like catch that at all.
What?
I said kudos to Tampa for their first Stanley Cup.
Oh, no, I did not catch that. For a second there, I was just like, what the heck? Hold on. This is live, guys. This is live, so we can't – normally on the audio we would cut this out. But since you guys are checking – well, one of you. There's only one of you. I don't even know who you are watching that's live. I have work to deal with right now.
It's not even me.
So I just got to work text.
I'm not watching.
I'm on call right now.
Here, let's see if let's try this. I wonder if we're actually live.
This is great.
It's live, but it's like.
Yeah, okay, who cares? So there is a bit of a delay. But
so you could have got your work done.
It.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got it done. Don't worry.
Okay,
it's just
cool.
a quick text I had to answer.
Cool.
But yeah, and that was Tampa's second Stanley Cup for those who are
First
keeping
legit.
track, I guess. Ha ha ha. Get over it. It was like
coming from a guy that
16 years ago.
Coming from a guy that cheers for a team that all he talks about is their past. Because that's all the accolades
I don't.
they have.
I didn't get to fucking experience any of the past winning. So it's still new for me. I still deserve this. Okay?
Okay.
That hurts a little bit. But no, that was just a great Stanley Cup final. Like Braden Point is unbelievable.
Oh.
Victor Hedman, Conn Smythe Trophy winner. What a playoff series. Like that
Steven
guy's the best.
Stamkos was just totally
right,
conservative with his time.
So I was hanging out with Tweets this last weekend,
Yeah.
and he was pissed that Stamkos got to lift the cup first. He goes, he should have deferred. And I was like, well, no, he was he's the leader, but I kind of get his point.
I understand his point, but he was also part of that team last year that got swept.
Yeah.
And
they went to the finals in 2015.
Yeah.
He lost to Chicago. He was there. So, he had a little heartbreak.
And some of those core guys either were just about on the team or they just got on that team in 2015. So they experienced it too. And they knew probably how much this meant to Stamkos because he couldn't play. Yeah.
And also, like, he did come back. He did play one game. He scored.
Three shifts?
3 shifts or something. But when Stamkos scored, that was one of the greatest moments of all time.
Did you read what happened on that play?
No.
He opened up about what had happened. And he stepped around the defender. And as he stepped around the defender, he felt something tear from his groin to his abdomen. Really?
So then he scores, and then he's like, all right, we're going to tear it up more because the Selly's coming in. Everybody jumped him.
Maroon went into him. Now I see that picture, and it almost looks like
Patty Maroon's 275 pounds.
And I think Stamkos is like, hoping that he doesn't get destroyed because he's actually in pain.
Oh, God, that's great. Yeah. What a playoff series. But, the thing that I was most excited about was the offseason. Now, I love the draft and free agency. It's so exciting. And this year it was so fucking insane. Hey, Did we have awards before our last podcast?
No, I don't think so.
Well, just to let you guys know, I'm repping the reigning Hart fucking Trophy winner, the Ted Lindsay winner, the Art Ross Trophy winner, Leon Draisaitl, well-deserved. No matter what the fuck anybody says, that guy was the most valuable player in the league this year, and I'm happy that he finally gets his recognition.
I think McKinnon should have got it.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. And then TSN names McKinnon better than McDavid in their top, 50 players, and it's just like, what all that's doing is making McDavid going to be fucking insane this year.
I mean, I got to give it to McKinnon. He fucking turned it up when the playoffs started.
Yeah.
That was another level that no one expected out of him, right?
I just hate the arguments that were like, Draisaitl plays with McDavid, so that's why. And it's like, well, first of all, that's misdirected. And it's like, and they're like, well, you got a lot of points on the power play. It's like, because he's good. He's on a good power play. He was on the best power play. And then they always say McKinnon didn't have that. Didn't have the same he doesn't get to play with great players. Like, have you seen fucking Colorado's team? Okay, I don't care. But sure, Landeskog and Rantanen were hurt, but it's like, oh, now you have to play with Burakovsky. Now you have to play with there's a lot of good players on that team. So I hate that argument, and I hated so many people, and those fucking idiots that released their list, Draisaitl wasn't even in my top 5 for the Hart Trophy. It's like, what? Get fucked. You don't know anything.
I've seen that on Twitter.
And everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
And that one in particular, they're like, And here's why. And they had their Corsi out and everything like that. It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
That does not help your case.
Oh, some of them are so bad. And then, like, I went through and looked at a bunch of the lists, and you can just see there's so many homer picks. Like,
well, you have to realize they're sports analysts.
Yeah, but like
they do
the
have
guy out of
Boston
Boston putting Pastrnak first. Hey, Pastrnak was definitely worthy of being top 5 on a lot of lists, but you put him first when you obviously know he wasn't first, right? Yeah. But then again, that same thing happens in Edmonton, where for the Calder Trophy, like Ethan Bear got a couple 5th place votes, all from people from Edmonton.
Yeah,
I kind of get that a little bit, but like I loved Ethan Bear, and he was a great rookie, but he wasn't one of the top 5 rookies in the league.
No.
So I just wish everybody could call it that way, but they want their guy on the ballot.
Which I agree with. Like that's not how it should be, because the first rule to being a sports analyst is in your writings and in your analytics, you should not know who your favorite team is. You should not, like, the people reading it should not know who your favorite team is.
That's true, yeah.
So when they go to vote based on what they've been writing all year, they shouldn't just go away from what they wrote and pick their homer player, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's the awards mean something, but I think to all those players, the only thing that matters is the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. That's what Leon said. So
yeah, exactly.
We're going to win the cup
he's not
next
going to
year.
get it. So
no, we're going to win it next year.
Oh yeah, with your goaltending tandem.
We're going to get there. Okay, we're going to talk about that. So should we we'll jump into free agency now.
Well, do we want to hit the draft up a little bit first?
Okay, yeah, hitting the draft up is probably First of all, being an Oilers fan, watching the draft used to be like you only had to watch the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, that first 5 minutes would have taken fucking an hour this year.
It was definitely different, but like, you know what was the funniest part about the draft was like I was just waiting for like one of the guys to be like on a Zoom chat, like scratching his balls or something, or just like cussing up a storm, just like fuck yeah. But well, we never got really any of that.
You know, there was a delay for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was the other part. They make the selection and they cut to the player that's being drafted, and then it's so delayed. They're sitting there. It's like 20 seconds before they finally realize where they are. But I guess the draft not let's see. Lafreniere goes to Rangers.
Lafreniere.
Whatever. Fucking French people. See, we've already lost every single viewer that we have. What, do you guys have something better to do on a Friday night or something? It's fucking COVID. This is all you get.
And it's fucking 40 below out there.
Yeah, stay inside. Watch Chuck and Nuts.
Lafreniere
Byfield becoming the highest drafted black NHL player. That was pretty cool. Good for him. And I think that he was always the guy because it was down to Byfield and Stützle. I think they're calling him Stützle. I heard on 31 Thoughts. No.
Okay.
Anyway, but Byfield's potential is just there. So I think that LA was they said that he's like Kopitar. He's the next Kopitar. So who better to learn?
And I think the North American hockey, like him playing North American hockey, influenced LA's decision a little bit there.
And then probably the coolest moment of the draft.
Yeah.
The Ottawa Senators tabbing Alex Trebek.
I know. That's unreal.
And I just loved it. Like even Gary Bettman looked excited about it. He was just like, a special guest is going to make the announcement.
Did Ottawa get rid of all of their like media and their front office staff and like just before the draft hire new people and they're like, okay, we need to put Ottawa back on the map. Let's get Alex Trebek.
Yeah. But I was like, I wonder how many different variations of that they had to record. Because if Byfield falls in, they're taking Byfield, right? So they probably had to do – it's like with the jerseys. You have like jerseys with 3 players on. You know, somewhere out there, there's like an Edmonton Oilers Ryan Murray jersey. Well, and
Lafreniere probably has 15 jerseys sitting in his house because – well, maybe not him, but
there was people that hoped during the draft lottery, yeah.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that, those guys that go in the bottom 20 of the first round – they had a jersey on when they get interviewed.
Yeah.
So how many jerseys are there sitting off screen?
Fair enough, yeah.
They must have gone. Maybe they got one from every team.
Well, there was something like every player that was up for the draft were like sent hats of every NHL team so they could wear the hats at least.
Right, but everyone that I seen in the first round for sure had a jersey on too. So
yeah,
that's probably what it was. They probably got a box with 31 jerseys.
With their names, yeah. So 4th overall, Detroit Red Wings, poor bastards, because the way it was kind of articulated was Lafreniere, or how do you say it? Lafreniere. He was the top tier without a doubt.
Right.
And then Stützle and Byfield were right there. And then after that, they said from 4 to 12 was pretty much, or 4 to 13 was pretty much all the same level. And then there was a drop off because the Oilers picked 14th.
Right.
And I was looking at it, and the top 13 guys all went top 13. So we didn't end up getting anything. Right. But it just sucks for Detroit because how bad they were.
Yeah, I know.
And then, they take Lucas Raymond, who was kind of 6'7".
I can't believe you're saying I feel bad for them when the Oilers got first-round draft picks and they didn't have the worst record.
So we were the worst team. Even if we didn't have the worst record, we had the worst teams back then.
Yeah, but so New York. Well, I guess not New York. New York didn't deserve the first overall.
It should have been Ottawa or
Detroit
or LA,
sure. I guess.
Yeah, LA. Yeah, that would have been reasonable, but hey, 2 and 3, whatever.
Yeah,
it's more funny for San Jose.
I forgot about the whole fucking.
It's like San Jose's pick was the one that went 3rd overall.
Yeah,
and then Jake Sanderson to Ottawa at 5th overall. That guy looks fucking sick.
I forgot about Stützle broke his arm.
Yeah, I seen that, but he'll be ready by
I know, but
it's a good time to break your arm.
What are the chances? Yeah, I'm draft.
And then I think it goes Jamie Drysdale to Anaheim. And then this was funny, Kate. Have you ever heard of? Have I told you about Melody Martin? She is a Buffalo Sabres fanatic, and she does like songs.
Yes,
she did
right.
version of Hey There Delilah, does Hey Jason Bottrell.
Yeah.
And she's very talented, has good hockey knowledge. Like her YouTube channel is awesome. And she did a video of her watching the draft because Sabres fans are all that way. Yeah, are just as diehard as Oilers fans are a lot of the way.
When I went to Buffalo, that was adamant there.
Yeah, and it was hilarious because they need center. They need someone else behind Jack Eichel, and she was just like, "Oh my God, if Marco Rossi drops to us, it's going to be insane." And Rossi was insane. Like he was the OHL MVP, right? Gets to 8th overall, and it went the way they hoped. Like the wingers went and the defensemen went. So Holtz to New Jersey, and she was just like, we're going to get Rossi or Perfetti. And they go from the Ottawa 67s, and she's like, yes! And then they say Jack Quinn. And she literally stops. She goes, no, what? Because Quinn and Rossi played both for the Ottawa 67s. I just was like, it's just another kick in the balls to Buffalo.
I seen that on Twitter. And then I also seen things like, I wonder if Buffalo just thinks they just drafted Jack and Quinn Hughes.
Yeah. And then James Duthie had a great tweet where he's like, I want to see Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes, and Jack Quinn on the same team. That's good stuff. Anyway, so we'll just kind of go on to our teams. Edmonton Oilers draft Dylan Holloway, a member of the All Abs team.
Oh, yes, yeah, that's
that
right.
guy is Jack.
Yeah.
And one of the guys on
I thought
Oilers.
you were trying to do a play on words there.
No.
And I was like,
no, that's legit. Like, since our boy Oscar Klefbom, my boy,
your boy,
might be out for the entire fucking season because he's, got old body bones.
man.
Because he has arthritis and even might consider retirement. How's everything going in Oilerland, Sharon? Exactly.
It's great.
So we get Dylan Holloway, and he was a player I was kind of bummed out at the pick because I wanted Seth Jarvis, who went to Carolina, because why the fuck not? Or Askarov, let's get a goalie for the first time ever.
But it was they could have.
How?
Well, I'm just saying he could have.
That's what I was hoping for. So those are the two guys that I kind of had my heart set on. And as the draft, when it came down to Carolina, I was like, well, they've been – no, Carolina broke my heart in 2006. And
they're going to do it again.
They did it again. And then, Dylan Holloway to me was the safe pick. And they're like, at his floor is third-line center. And I don't think that's good enough in what is considered the deepest draft since 2003. Right? So that kind of upset me. But what I did like is, he went to college as a 17-year-old, and he produced decent, nothing eye-popping, but most of the guys in that league are much older. So there's a lot to like about it. And he was a Calgary Flames fan, and he already won our hearts by just saying that we damn sure ain't fans of them now. And it's kind of cool to say it because I always like played that scenario in my head as a kid. Like I was like, if I got drafted by Calgary, I'd be like, fuck that. And I would, but you don't know until you're in the situation. And it must kind of be a bummer for the kid to be like, I'm a Flames fan my whole life, and then you get drafted by the Oilers, and it's just all out the window. But I guess it's different when you're a player because that's your team.
Right. And I mean, not every team digs up an old picture of them sleeping in their Toronto Maple Leafs, PJs and blankets for later on when he becomes a Maple Leaf.
Pajama boy, eh?
Yeah. So I mean, it's almost cool, I guess, from this aspect of you're now playing for the rivals. Right?
Yeah. So that's the Edmonton Oilers pick. I hope it works out. And you actually kind of said, hey, like, you need a solid third-line center to win a Stanley Cup, right?
Exactly.
So I've been reading Brian Burke's book,
and
he actually has a diagram of what he thinks a championship team is, and it's kind of cool. And that third-line center is always very important.
100%.
So going on to your team now, Calgary.
Well, I have to say, I got to give it to Trivling. He did an amazing job on that.
He did what the Oilers should have done once we got to 14 and all the guys
he read that draft perfectly. He traded down twice and still got Connor Zary. And that's
I would have liked.
And that's who they were projecting to pick.
Yeah.
Was one of their picks. So they ended up with 2 extra picks in the third round, and they got the player they wanted lower in the draft.
Yeah. So who did they all trade down with? Like, what position did they start at?
They were 19, I think it was, and they traded with the Rangers for.
Yeah, because the Rangers got Braden Schneider.
They got Schneider. I don't remember now. I think it was 19 for 20 and 43.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it right now. So, yeah, you moved down from 19, and Braden Schneider was picked. And then I think you moved down. Yeah, then you moved from 22 down to 24, and the Capitals picked Hendrix Lapierre, who was he only played like 12 games or something, but he was a first overall pick.
Well, actually, that's kind of an interesting story. They thought he had concussion. Wow.
Post-conculingus?
Can you stop? Post-concussion syndrome. And it turns out it was nothing like that. It was actually something to do with vertebrae in his neck.
Yeah.
And so they're projecting that like he's going to stay healthy now. So that's cool for him. But they went down to 26, right?
No, you guys picked at 24th. So you went from 19 to 22 and then 22 to 24.
And then they ended up with 2 extra picks in the third round.
Yeah, which is great. And that's what I wish the Oilers would have done.
And, historically, you look back, there's a hell of a lot of players that had great careers as a third-round draft pick. So, I mean, what do you have to lose, right?
Other great moments from the draft. First of all, New Jersey at 20 picks Shakir.
I'll never forget seeing that. And the guys at SportsCenter were like, we have nothing on this guy.
No, that's not him. No, I'm getting to that.
I'm sure it was Huckahoma.
No, it was Yegor Chinnikov.
Oh, that's right. Chinnikov.
I was going to get to that. The first thing but you had the name right for like Makahumadulin, but it's Makhamadulin or something like that.
Makahumanuman.
It's fucking hard to say.
But imagine
did you see
Don Cherry saying that
Oh,
name.
for fuck's sakes. Do you remember how he used to say Habibulin? No, because he didn't even try. Habibulin. Anyways, I seen on Twitter somebody tweeted something like, "Oh, I'm glad the Jersey Devils picked Shakir," and then he put MUK, like how the name starts, and then just a bunch of likes. And someone went on there and tried to cancel him for being xenophobic.
Oh, yes, I seen that.
And I was like, "Okay, if a name's hard to pronounce, that's not xenophobic. That's hard to pronounce. I don't care." If you have a silent B, if my last name Potrat started with a B that was silent, you guys would be like, "What the fuck?" And that's not xenophobic.
I also seen someone else tweet saying, it's great. Congratulations for him to go over 20th overall, but I really have to give it to the play-by-play announcers that have to say that name.
No shit.
And then someone retweeted and saying, if you're so xenophobic that you can't even, accept the name for what it is, you don't belong on Twitter. It's like, holy fuck, man. Like,
no kidding. Just ridiculous. But then following that pick, the Columbus Blue Jackets select Yegor Chenikov, and then go cut to who's the draft guru? They had Mike Fuda from the old LA Kings assistant GM, I can't remember his name. Sam Constantino. There it is. And
I was like, I'm staring at him.
They just had nothing on this guy. This guy was projected as like he was like ranked as something like the 96th European skater.
Yeah,
and he goes 21st overall. And it's like, but Jarmo Kekalainen don't give a fuck. That guy is a genius. So if he thinks he's got a player, he's got a player, right? But I love the reaction. And then they cut to Elliot Friedman, and he has to comment on. I wish you guys could see it from my point of view because you're sitting there flipping papers and nothing, no highlight reel, nothing. That was a great moment. And you know what I love about it? They didn't try to bullshit their way.
No.
Like what we probably would have done. We would have been, Chinikov.
I remember Brian Burke saying he's definitely a winger.
A Russian winger.
I don't know if he's left or right wing, but he's a winger.
I'd say his strengths are speed and skill, and he can skate, and he can puck handle,
but
he
needs
can
to work
wear the
on his
uniform. Weaknesses, speed, and we have no idea. So that was a great moment. And then probably the best moment is the last pick in the draft. Yes. San Jose Sharks select Ozzy Weisblatt, and Ozzy Weisblatt's mother is deaf, so they signed the pick. Classy move by the organization. Cool. And that guy, that Ozzy Weisblatt, he's got quite the story. Good farm boy from Alberta.
They had a segment on him, I think, on Coach's Corner this winter. Was it not this winter?
Well, I'm pretty sure that we didn't get a winter of Coach's Corner because of something.
Well, yeah. COVID hit in March.
Oh, okay. I forget. Yeah, because Don Cherry is the reason COVID happened.
Yeah, exactly.
After he got fired, it was just like, release the COVID. Don Cherry got fired.
He's the one that has brothers playing too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty good story there too. So really great. Also for the Edmonton Oilers, I got to say their fourth round picks, because we ended up trading down from our third round pick that we shouldn't have had to give up next year anyway, because James Neal did not score 21 goals. And apparently you can prorate for that, but you couldn't prorate points to get us into the play-in, and we would have been in the playoffs. But whatever.
Holy fuck.
But Carter Savoy, I think we pronounce it Savoy, but I think it's supposed to be Savoy. Scored like 50 goals, 53 games in the AJHL. Sounds like, and he's going to the college route as well. And then also somebody, Tulio, out of the OHL, was a faller in the draft, and buddies with Zach Kassian already. I think he's going to be a future fan favorite. So I'm giving the Oilers a thumbs up on their draft record.
Another thing that I guess I wanted to make note of it, never did, so I don't know who the players' names are, but in the first two rounds, two and a half rounds, there was the most ever prospects that either played in Grand Prairie, were born in Grand Prairie, or played with some sort of organization.
Yeah, right? I heard that too. So that's cool. We got some local touch. Maybe people we can eventually get on the pod.
I want to say it was 5 or 6 players.
I heard something on. Oh, one more fun story from the draft. Montreal Canadiens had 2 second-round picks in a row.
Yes.
They selected Luke Tuck.
Oh, yes.
And Jan Mysak. So the draft board literally read touch my sack. And I don't know if that was planned or anything, but I got to say, that's one of the best things. And I don't care how mature you are, how much you think that you're a good human being. You giggled at that. You did, and that's great. Like, you got to love it. I think that's the only other stories.
I know that there's a few guys that fell that they didn't see falling, but that happens every year.
Yeah.
So.
That's great. Where's the trades that happened that year during the draft? Oh, I guess can we get into trades or free agency? Should we just get into look at every NHL team and kind of assess what their roster looks like?
Yeah, that's going to work great without their roster in front of us.
Huh? Dude, it's all right up here.
Okay. Well, I put my trust in you.
You put your trust in me.
Yep, let's do it.
All right, free agency. Or should we just fucking rattle it off? Should we try and be structured?
No, let's do it by team.
All right.
Yeah.
So Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
It's okay. We can use our good friend Cap Friendly here. I know their big ad was Kevin Shattenkirk, which is kind of interesting because Shatty was like when he signed his big deal with the New York Rangers that he ended up getting bought out of. He said that he didn't want to play in the East or in the West.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be on the West Coast, and now all of a sudden he's won a Stanley Cup, and he's like, "Fuck it, I guess we'll make that happen."
Well, he's probably thinking, let's finish my career in the beautiful West Coast.
I guess why not? And yeah, $3.9 million over the for the next 3 years. Looking at their depth chart right now, they're obviously still in transition. They got a solid blue line.
They do actually.
I don't know who this Cody Curran is, but he's a 30-year-old defenseman, first time in the NHL, making over $1 million. So he must be something.
He's probably an AHL vet. So yeah,
I think he was playing overseas.
Shattenkirk
to be honest,
finishes his contract with Anaheim, and he's 34. He's probably considering retirement after that.
Unless he's got his cup now.
Unless he,
great,
right?
signs
for $1 million or whatever,
I think that but in Anaheim it looks like no other ads other than Shattenkirk. So I think they're a team in transition. They'll probably be bringing in some of their younger guys. Derek Grant was their other ad, who they actually had Grant traded him to Philly for a 4th round pick, and he's come back. Really effective player. Great on the great on the faceoff circle. He actually was part of one of the nicest goals in the NHL where he kicked it out of midair.
Oh yeah, that's
right. I remember seeing it on the highlight reel. I was like, that's a beauty play. And then the only other ad I can see that is coming from Anaheim is they need a backup goaltender. John Gibson's going to be able to carry a big workload. We know that he's got a big contract starting this year. And looking at the depth chart, Anthony Stolarz will probably be the backup as of right now. And as considering Edmonton trade Cam Talbot for Anthony Stolarz and then let him walk, you can say pretty much what you need to know about that. So
that means he's a really good goalie.
Yeah, not too bad. So I guess what I'd say, Anaheim, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team if they stand pat at this moment. Moving on to the Arizona Coyotes, losing Taylor Hall. Can't wait to get to our Taylor Hall talk. That's going to be an interesting one. Yep. The only
they picked up 3 players?
Yeah. So Tyler Pitlick, when the Edmonton Oilers had a decision between Taylor and Tyler, they were like, we're going to take both. Yeah. But they meant Tyler Pitlick, not Tyler Seguin, because he was the first pick of the 2nd round in our big rebuild year. In fact, hell of a player, hell of a workhorse. I like that pickup for Arizona, considering, they're not going to get anything else going on.
Nope.
Johan Larsson was another pick, and John Hayden, so not a lot to look at. I guess the big story with them.
Didn't they sign Hayden just recently too, or was that last year?
Barrett Hayden?
Yeah.
He's their draft pick.
Right, but they signed him.
He signed last year. He played last year.
Did he play last year?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. I read something about him the other day, but I didn't know if it was.
Okay, yeah. Well, he's definitely going to be a part of the team this year. And the big story was Oliver Ekman-Larsson's name was out there. Obviously, we know that they're trying to cut costs because Arizona got hammered by COVID because they don't make any money as is. Yep. Right. So I just thought the teams that were kind of involved with Ekman-Larsson were the Oilers, the Canucks, and the Bruins.
And the
apparently,
Flames.
Were they in?
Yeah, at first, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm happy for them getting out, and I'm happy for the Oilers for getting out too. Because I was hearing things that Edmonton was going to have to give up the 14th overall pick, which became Dylan Holloway, as well as one of Evan Bouchard or Oscar Clefbaum, Evan Bouchard or Philip Broberg.
I thought it was
Chris
a first,
Russell.
a second, and a prospect.
No.
Up and coming prospect.
No, all I heard was that it was Russell for the money.
Okay.
To make the money work because he's got a high cap hit, small money. Yeah. And they wanted one of Bouchard or Broberg and our first round pick. And it's like, that's kind of an overpay. But it's like the Dave Tippett connection. But apparently Ekman-Larsson said, no, we didn't want to go to Edmonton. Thank you. Thank you, Oliver.
But I do like what he did.
Given the deadline?
Yeah. Because obviously he was in a position where he doesn't really want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He likes playing for them. He's their captain. And if they're going to trade him away, he doesn't want to go into, a month of Lent mode, let's call it, sitting there not knowing what's going to happen. So, hey, by this date, if you don't have me traded, I'm staying with this team.
Yeah. Fair enough. But
I mean, obviously, sometimes that doesn't work because
but he
love is
only
love
gave,
and business is bullshit.
He only gave 2 teams that he would go to, though, and both of them just really didn't have the space. So, and like I said, that's a lot. He's starting his contract next year.
Right,
He's going to be 37 when that contract's over. He's not the player he used to be.
But in his position with a no movement clause, he has a right to say, I want to go to these 2 teams or nothing.
Yeah. But even though he gave that deadline, I'm sure that I wouldn't be surprised. We still have a lot of time before the season starts.
Oh, for sure. But it's just that
it could still happen.
With free agency happening and everything like that, with him giving that deadline, it's good. He knows that, until camp starts, let's call it, he's Arizona Coyote. With the flat cap too, that really changed how things went on.
Yeah, that's why there's still a lot of good players that haven't signed and are going to have to take some deals. So.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess the only other storyline out of Arizona was Darcy Kemper and Antti Raanta both still there. Yep. Looked like one of them were going to move, but I think this is what they're going to go with because they're capped out themselves. Like, isn't that ridiculous?
But they have how many players are they playing that actually are retired or playing in?
They have Hossa on the.
Oh, they're down to just him?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they had got.
Well, they had Datsuk at one time. They had Pronger's contract.
Right.
It's just like, fuck. All right, moving on to the big bad Boston Bruins.
Boston.
Do you like that alliteration?
Yeah.
Speaking of Boston, should we just give a shout out to Bill Burr's monologue on SNL?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen all the.
You've seen all the outrage?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to listen to his podcast and he just talked about it. He didn't mention one thing about the backlash because he doesn't give a fuck. Just great. Every other hockey podcast has even mentioned it. Like, that's how impactful he is.
Yeah.
Because he's a hockey fan, he's a Boston masshole. He's great. Anyways, Boston, let's Torrey Krug walk.
Yep.
Zdeno Chara has already said that he's open to all options, which means he's even considering, if he plays again, not being in Boston. Look at their blue line right now. Sands, Chara, Sands, Krug. For those who don't know, Sands means
without.
Thank you.
It's not pronounced like that at all. I thought he was talking about it. Oh.
It's all right. Didn't break. There's just nails in that cup for some reason.
Cat fail. Anyways, I thought you were talking about the store, Sands.
No.
No, that blue line looks rough.
McAvoy and Carlo and a bunch of scrubs.
Yeah. And
considering Grzelcyk hasn't even signed yet.
Yeah, that's rough.
And
I never seen it on paper, so I never realized how bad it was.
Well, I've been doing depth charts at work in no, I haven't.
He's been doing depth charts for work. Not about hockey.
Hey, I'm sitting behind a computer desk. Sometimes don't know what I'm doing, but I look like I'm always busy. Their only big ad in free agency so far has been Craig Smith, which is a solid deal. Like a guy who's pretty much guaranteed 20 goals and 40 points. At $3.1 million, that's a great value contract. Yep. And that's kind of what they need. And they're going to be hurting up. Like, Boston could miss the playoffs this year. How crazy is that?
Well, if you think about it,
they've got a lot of distractions.
If one of, say, Pastrnak or Marchand get hurt, yeah, they're probably not making the playoffs.
They are hurt. Well, that's what I said. Right now, Pastrnak and Marchand are both likely not starting, are going to miss like the first month, and in a compressed schedule, that could be 15 games.
I didn't realize they were hurt.
Oh, no, that.
Yeah. No, I just meant if they get hurt, right?
But with that being your top line, obviously you need something on the second line. DeBrusk still hasn't signed. I'm sure they have the money. Right now, they have a lot of cap space. They're sitting, $10 million. Apparently, they were one of the teams that was in on Taylor Hall.
Apparently, every team was in on Taylor Hall.
Well, apparently, you got 25 teams called him.
Yeah.
And we'll see about his decision.
I can't believe what the Oilers offered him. Anyways.
What?
You didn't read that today?
No.
Oh, okay.
What did we offer him?
4.4 or something like that.
Should have taken it. Would have won the cup for sure.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I think it was 4.5 or something like that. 4.4, 4.5.
All right. Anyways, I guess the only other ad I can see here for would be Greg McKegg. So fourth line center. Sean Corrali moves up to third line probably. And Kevin Miller. They gave him another deal, even though the guys didn't play last year. He's just.
I follow him on Twitter. I think it is, and he said he's playing next year. So he said he could have went to the bubble.
Okay.
So
fair enough. So Boston though they're still a great team, and I guess we'll just see how the rest of the offseason plays out. They have money to spend. I wouldn't be surprised if they were one of the teams to give Hoffman a deal.
I think so. And on a side note, the reason I follow Kevin Miller on Twitter is not because of hockey. He's an avid hunter. Just thought I'd throw it out.
Oh, well, that's gay.
Because I'm not, apparently.
Yeah. What, you didn't shoot anything this year?
Not yet.
Okay. Not yet. See, there we go. That's a positive outlook. You said not yet. You will. All right. The Buffalo fucking Sabres. The winners of the Taylor Hall sweepstakes. Let's just get to that point right now.
All right. So first thing I'm going to say about that is, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No one's seen that coming. Absolutely
Nobody.
But I do have, I guess, an assumption.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to try to move Jeff Skinner.
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
No?
No.
Maybe not this season, but if Hall works out and they re-sign him, do you think they move Jeff Skinner? Because
well, what if Jeff Skinner scores 40 goals again?
I don't see that. Anyways, because they're going to get into a situation that if they re-sign Taylor Hall after this year, they're going to be tight on the cap space in the coming, next couple of seasons, right?
I don't necessarily think so because they still have $13 million. That's why they were able to give Hall $8 million. So you got to sign Reinhart and Olofsson. What do you figure? Like Olofsson's probably going to get the same amount of money as Kubalik, who got like 3.7. Right? Because they were both kind of the same sniper rookies, right? Sam Reinhart, he's probably worth $5 million.
I'm thinking he's getting 6.
Well, but with the COVID contracts, I wouldn't be surprised if they bridge him at 5.5 for 2 years. That's my prediction.
Being 24, he's gonna get a bridge deal, but I think it's 6. But
because it's been Reinhart and Eichel the only people that are putting up points there, right? Yeah. Especially since Skinner fucking cratered in the first year of a $9 million contract.
Okay, let's call it 6 because we're gonna round up. And 3, that's $9 million.
Fair enough, and Taylor Hall will probably get a raise on that. Yeah. But then maybe you look at them buying out Kyle Okposo.
Possible, I guess.
Well, like just one of those other guys that got $6 million that same year that Lucic and Ladd and Eriksson.
Look at Jeff Skinner. If he does not have a better year, $9 million a year for the next 6 years.
Yeah, he was really bad. He had like 20 points.
I know.
Fuck, that was just a fall from grace.
But it's they have a few guys that are entry-level contracts that are playing full-time in NHL on defense. So that's where
I guess you're right about they might have to move Skinner because look who's coming up this year.
Exactly.
Rasmus Dahlin.
Yeah.
Or Dahlin?
Dahlin.
Yeah. Other ads, but hold on, just before we get
and they haven't signed Allmark yet.
Yeah, that too. And that's another thing I would be surprised. Apparently Allmark had great underlying numbers last year. And
when I watched Buffalo play, he played great.
Yeah.
But and then they have Ristolainen is for another 2 years. Never mind.
Yeah, he'll get traded because he's been on the rumor mill forever.
Yes.
But more about the Taylor Hall. Just tell me what your reaction is when you first seen it. Like, did you have to go on Twitter and be like, "Okay, that can't be a real blue check mark on Elliot Friedman or Pierre LeBrun"?
I wasn't on Twitter, so I have my notifications shut off on Twitter because that place is just a shitstorm right now. And it was
friend of the show, Maddie's going on rants like none other.
It was.
I had to ask him, "What's up, bud?"
It was Sunday that happened, right before Thanksgiving.
I don't remember.
I think so. Anyways, we're sitting around the table, me and my cousin and my brother, and also my cousin says, "Holy fuck, Taylor Hall just got signed." I'm like, "Oh, where did he go? Colorado?" And he's like, "No, Buffalo." I'm like,
"What?
What?" I'm like, "There's no fucking way." I'm like, "There's no way he went to Buffalo." He's like, "Yeah, on a 1-year deal." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, no, I think everybody had this. I was flabbergasted, and it's like everybody said the same thing. It's like he just went back on everything he said. He said money wasn't important, winning was important.
Yeah,
But then you peel back the onion here, and I think it was Brian Burke said it.
Onions have layers.
Huh?
Onions have layers. I was explaining to them why you said peel back the onion.
Oh, okay. I thought that everybody knew that.
Well,
but
no,
thank you for
everyone's like, well, why would he want to cry?
because he's won one playoff game in his entire career, yeah. And he just went to a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 9 years. But they made some good moves. So maybe, but like peeling back the onion, because they have layers, he's going to play with Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
And I hated it because everyone's like, that's the best center he's ever played with. And I'm like, he played with Leon Draisaitl, you motherfuckers. And they were really good together.
But was Draisaitl playing center then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was McDavid's rookie year.
Yeah.
And then
that's right. He got hurt. So
when McDavid got hurt, it just worked out better with Hall and Draisaitl. Anyways, just saying, people have short memories, and I don't. I'm an elephant brain.
But what I don't understand.
Close to home.
There's closer to home, though.
Like, yeah, Toronto, but who wants to play there?
Well, no, but
other than Joel Thornton.
Especially with the unknowing of how this COVID season could play out, he could be a fucking long ways from home, depending how they break it down, right?
Fair enough.
It's just that I don't understand how they called him and sold him on going to Buffalo.
They released the call. They played when they were recruiting him.
Really?
Yeah, on their Twitter. I went and watched it, and it was Kevin Adams sitting there talking to him and said, and we know you have a relationship with Ralph Kruger.
Right.
And then it has Ralph on the line, and he's just how he's a motivational speaker pretty much, right? Like, okay, remember the Oilers in the lockout year when he was the head coach? That was all against the Western Conference when the Western Conference was way better in the East. Right. And the Oilers were a playoff team until the last 5 games of the year, and then all shit went to hell. And if you look at that roster, they had no business being anywhere close to that. But it was Ralph Kruger got everybody going. I think Taylor Hall really liked him.
Okay.
And we know Taylor Hall didn't like Dallas Eakins.
Yeah, well,
okay?
Did anyone?
Well, he's still a coach somehow. But, he was just amping him up, and then Taylor just sounded like he was sold right there. So, and he got big money.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Okay. Let's say over a prorated season, is it unreal to think that Eichel and Hall together could both have over 90 points? No, that's guaranteed.
Absolutely not.
And then if it doesn't work out, but hey, if they turn Buffalo around, all of a sudden Eichel's happy. He gets to make the playoffs.
GM.
They
Jack
can be,
Eichel.
yeah, pretty much. So there's it's weird, but if it works, it's a good bet. And if it doesn't work, he can get traded again, go for another run, and then take the big money contract with a winner.
I really think personally what was happening is that there's 25 teams calling him, and they're all offering him like 7x6 or 6x6. He wasn't actually getting that 7 or 8 million.
He wasn't getting a Skinner contract,
right? Exactly, but he was getting term, and he's probably in a position where he's like, I'm 28. If I can get banked this year and have a fucking rocket year, I'm making major money next year, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah. And I guess other moves there from Buffalo, acquiring Eric Staal from Marcus Johansson. What a fucking deal.
Billy.
Bill Guerin's doing some things.
He's doing some things.
That's all we're saying. Cody Eakin was brought in, good third-line center. So they did add some good depth. Curtis Lazar got re-upped, and then Toby Reeder bringing it in because,
you know what? He proved himself last year with Calgary. I'm disappointed that they didn't get a deal done in Calgary because I liked him on the fourth line, but I hope that he works out.
He's a great fourth-line penalty killer.
And if you think about it, if Buffalo resigns –
he is not a second-line right wing.
Think about if Buffalo resigns Frolik, they've got half of the old Flames roster. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, no shit. Wow, that's a recipe for success. Speaking of the Calgary Flames, let's get into it. Now,
let's get into it.
We'll probably spend more time on our teams as we always do, so we might as well go through this right now.
We'll go back up. Go back up for a second.
Well, you want to see how much money you guys have left?
That's what I thought.
Just under $4 million.
Yeah. And they have 5 players this time.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. TJ Brody is out.
Yes.
Chris Tanev is in.
Yes.
There's apparently I heard on Elliot Friedman's 31 Thoughts podcast that they offered Brody the same contract they gave Tanev. Brody didn't accept, so they went right to Tanev.
Brody wanted to go home. It came out that it was nothing against
Yeah.
Calgary, it's just he wanted to go home, right? So now I guess I've had time to think about it.
I've had time to decompress.
Tanev is not replacing Brody.
Yes.
No.
Yes, he is.
Anderson is taking Brody's position. Tanev is taking.
Anderson's a garbage human being.
Oh, fuck.
Fucking hate that guy.
You hate anyone that's better than your team. So
No,
that's
it's just,
everyone.
I hate how much
Everyone.
of a little whiny bitch he was after the brawl.
Fuck. Anyways, so Anderson is replacing Brody, and Tanev is replacing Hamonic. But Hamonic actually hasn't.
Yeah, he could probably still come back.
So with $4 million, let's say it, I could see Hamonic taking $1 million to stay and play where he knows he has a place.
I thought he would have signed a Winnipeg by now.
Me too.
Yeah, that
thought
made
so.
all the sense.
Exactly.
He's gonna probably it's Calgary or Winnipeg, I think, for Hamonic.
In that case, well, okay, he comes back for $1 million. Now the blue line doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, your blue line's pretty much unchanged. You need Valimaki to stay fucking healthy.
He's been playing for
Well, he's been a Band-Aid already a
2
lot,
weeks?
and that's always
nerve-wracking. It's not really a Band-Aid. He played a few games, and then he missed all last year because of one injury. It's not really a Band-Aid.
Okay, whatever. Still.
Anyways, yes, if he can be a full-time defenseman, but they still have to re-sign Shillington.
Yeah, that's
right?
fine. He can't garner that much. It's
Oh,
probably
no.
going to be
It'll be
$800K.
yeah, that's right. But I'm just saying that for them to re-sign Hamonic for $1 million is not a big deal.
Yeah,
is
you still have him, and then filling out your forward ranks, you're going to have to add. You probably have to find somebody at value. There's a guy like a Dominic Cahoon's out there who's had insane numbers. And you probably get it, or you guys will probably sign Andreas Athanasio to a $700K contract, and he'll score 30 fucking goals for you. I swear to God, if that happens, it's just.
So I wanted to wait till he got to Ottawa, but Anthony Duclair decided that he was representing himself.
Yeah. And
he still sits without a contract. Because he's representing himself, I could see it gets to a point where he's going to take whatever he can get.
Mm-hmm.
So does Flames offer him a cheap contract to come in? I don't know.
There's going to be a lot of cheap contracts.
But they just signed Mangiapane today. I predicted 2 by 2.5, and I was a little less. I think that's a bargain of a deal with.
He's a top 6 guy.
He works fucking hard. He in his last 90.
He's Matthew Tkachuk light.
Yeah. But in his last 93 games, he has 25 goals, and they're all on even strength.
Yeah. Solid player. I love Mangiapane.
Only
not just because his name's fun to say, not just because he's your son's favorite player, but I actually do like Mangiapane.
So I think that actually
I want him and Kailer Yamamoto to fight.
I'm sorry, but Mangiapane's a little bit bigger than Kailer Yamamoto.
Yeah, but Yamamoto's scrappy.
No, it would have to be Goudreau and Yamamoto.
Okay, that'd be fun too. I can't wait.
Do you think they would use their sticks? So that by re-signing him, I think that kind of leaves him in a position where do we try what we had last year? Because Goudreau and Monahan did not have great seasons, right? So do they throw that away, start again, or do they? Because if they want to sign, let's say, a Hoffman, they're going to have to move someone to bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently he wants 6 or 5 and a half.
I don't see you guys being a big game chaser anymore.
No. But I'm just saying that with what they have, they would have to trade someone in order to pick up someone that wants that $5 to $6 million a year.
Fair enough.
So yeah, maybe they sign AA for $700,000
and he'll light it up the way it always goes. You guys stole Christopher Stieg from us. You take Toby Reeder, turn him into a player. Like fuck you.
But you have to understand with this that Edmonton let him walk.
Huh? Yeah, we gave him a contract offer. He didn't want to take it, so fuck him. It is what it is. We cleaned our hands. We'll get to the Oilers later.
But
we haven't even talked about your big name signing. And finally proven that David Riddick is just a piece of shit. You guys can't trust him. He's a terrible goaltender. He is a showboat. He's a fucking bitch. He's a little fucking Czech Republic bitch.
So when they re-signed Riddick, I knew that they didn't sign him to be 1A.
Yeah. Well, he's not even a 1 now. He is, without a doubt, your backup's backup, and if you could move him, you would move him.
And guess what? He's making 2.75. as a backup. What?
I just like how you're like saying things and you like look at the screen, you get it exactly right.
Because I thought it was 3.75, so I wanted to confirm. Anyways, they have $8 million tied up in goaltenders, but Markstrom has proved himself for.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is when this was going on. At first, it was Oilers offered 7 times 5.
Right.
And it looked like they were the front runners. And I was excited because I think Markstrom is a bona fide elite goalie. I'm fine giving him a max term and everything. And Brad's going on and texting me like, well, you know, he's going to be past his prime. You maybe get a couple good years out of him. And then as soon as it's released that Calgary signs in 6 times 6, you're like, no, that's a good deal. He's going to make it through the entire contract.
You're skipping a whole part of the conversation.
No. That's exactly how it happened.
I will post the conversation.
I even tweeted about that. I tweeted about it and said exactly what it was.
No, I can even post about the conversation where I was trying to work you up because I kept chirping everything you said after that to make it sound good. And then finally I said, I was trying to piss you off, and this is the one time it doesn't work.
Yeah. Whatever.
So, there you go.
I got a great tweet out of it because there was a lot of Twitter just being like, of course the Oilers would overpay a goalie. And then as soon as the Flames sign him, it's actually a pretty good deal. No.
So, but just going back to Riddick for a second, when he played his best hockey is when he was competing for a position. Mm-hmm. So I think this puts him in a position, I think this puts him in a place where he may be the backup, but if Markstrom's not playing good, he could be battling that for that spot, right? I mean, it doesn't change that.
Well, and maybe he's like Jake Allen to Carey Price for you guys now. Maybe. You're going to pay him $2 million a year to be a backup, and it's not a bad thing, especially in the way the league's going to be next year. You're going to need to have 2 guys that can play.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Shout out to the fucking bio history. Anyways.
I'll just wait till we get to the Edmonton Oilers. We got a few of those too. Troy Brouwer and Michael Stone still in the books, eh?
The worst one is that they bought out Mike Stone and then brought him back.
Which is fucking weird. I don't think you should be able to do that.
It's because Valimaki destroyed his knee right after that. But anyways.
So what would you say, just to sum up your team now, looking at your guys' moves, what do you think? Do you think your team is better going into next season?
I honestly think they're about the same.
I think you guys are better because you have a better goaltender. And goaltending can get you out of anything. Your defense is almost unchanged. Yeah, good for
Talbot's played Markstrom quality hockey last
year. Yeah, but he just couldn't fight worth a shit.
You're right. But he made the playoffs and you guys didn't. So
we made the playoffs, okay? Fuck that.
But anyway, so to me, it's Monahan and Goudreau need to produce this year. Yeah. That is the only difference.
This is their last chance.
Yep.
After that, you got to cut.
And I assure you, there is teams on speed dial. There is.
No, you have to say there are.
There is
to a variety of people.
There is
when you're talking about one person.
There is are. How about that?
Oh.
There is.
This is the guy that sends me like bad grammar on purpose because he knows it just fucking irritates me.
Anyways, there are going to be teams on speed dial wanting Goudreau or wanting Monahan, right? They'll lose value, but they could get rid of them and try to replace them. So
yeah,
I don't want that to happen. I just want them to succeed.
All right. Well, that was a terrible 10 minutes of my life.
It would be different if they would have moved like 4 players in and 5 out or whatever, right? But they didn't.
Okay, we're already an hour in, and we're like only.
We're an hour in.
we gotta rush this. I still gotta work tomorrow.
Okay, Carolina.
Carolina really didn't add anything other than Jesper Fast. Good, hardworking, like great guy in the room, great guy on the ice. He's one of those coaches' dreams. I think he'll fit in just fine there.
Yeah, I don't.
They haven't been able to move Jake Gardner, which is what they're trying to do. So really, they're pretty unchanged. I don't think we have to say much about them.
Okay, bye. They have $5 million cap space.
Yeah, and fuck them. They're fun to watch. I love them. Oh, this is gonna take some time. Fuck. Chicago Blackhawks. Stan Bowman is how he has a job right now is hilarious.
Do you think Billy Guerin and him are just sitting in a room together saying, "Let's see how we can fuck this up"?
Maybe because he pissed. Like, okay, Chicago beat the Oilers.
Yes,
they were the better team.
They were.
They were great. We had no answers for them. Ollie Matta looked like Scott Niedermayer, and then they traded Ollie Matta for an ECHL player. They traded Brandon Saad for Nikita Zadorov. I seen a tweet. They said, how come every time Chicago trades Brandon Saad is in the deal. They lose.
They get worse.
They traded Brandon Saad first. Artem Anisimov was the biggest piece they got back. They lose. They get Saad back by trading, Hart Trophy contender Artemi Panarin. Okay, lose that one. Then you have Brandon Saad again. You trade him for Zadorov. What the fuck? And now you've pissed off Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, saying we didn't know we were in a rebuild. You let Corey Crawford go.
Yeah.
And what's your plan to replace him for goaltending? We're going to run with Malcolm Subban and Colin Delia.
Yeah.
Malcolm Subban's the worst goalie I've ever seen. Okay?
This
is not a racist
You're not
thing.
wrong.
He is one of the worst goalies.
How does he still play at this level?
Do you remember watching the World Juniors when he was the starter? It was just like, this guy can't goal.
But when he played for Vegas,
he was an .890 save percentage in Vegas.
but not the year that every fucking goalie for Vegas got hurt, but the year after, second year. He only played like every 17th game.
Yeah.
And they would lose like 9-1. And then he goes to Chicago, doesn't stop a puck for a whole year. They re-sign him again.
It's mind-numbing. So, whatever. And, apparently people are like, Stan Bowman does not talk to the guys who have won him 3 cups. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, I think he got lucky that he had a good team that he couldn't fuck up and they could still win cups. Sure, he made a few moves that were creative, but still, you're just looking at it now. It's like, what are you doing? And, people are like, he's kind of being a beta. He gets intimidated by those guys, so he can't be square with them. And I'm sorry. Just fucking turn in your dick, bro.
Man up.
Yeah.
And there's also rumor that Duncan Keith is potentially on the move.
Come to Edmonton. He can still play.
6.5 million?
5.5.
Oh, close enough.
All right. Now from one GM that can't do anything right to the GM that literally I seen a Facebook post is like,
if he calls,
don't answer. If you see him, you walk past him. You pretend
do
you
not
don't know
make
him.
eye
Do not
contact.
make eye contact. Because we just spoke about one deal. He traded Zadorov for Brandon Saad. Did I mention they got Chicago to keep $1.5 million of his salary?
I know.
Okay? Every fucking deal this guy has made, he's won. He got Devon Taves out of the Islanders for a second and third, or 2 seconds.
No,
it was 2 seconds.
was it? I thought it was second and third.
Whatever.
Anyways,
pretty much what we paid for Athanasiou.
Yeah.
They got
that's right.
arguably one of the best defensemen that was available.
Yep.
Okay. What else? He brings in Nichushkin, the guy becomes a Selke candidate. He brings in Burakovsky, who was spinning his wheels in Washington, and he puts up 50 points. He traded Tyson Barrie on an expiring contract and got Nazem Kadri.
He played unreal in the
who is the best player of other than McKinnon. Yeah. He's got McKinnon at $6.3 million.
So there was kind of some discussion about that. Did McKinnon take that as a team-friendly deal? Or
No.
did he take
time,
that because of the situation at the time? And,
maybe.
And he knew that he was going to make bank.
I don't know. It's just when he signed that deal, it was the same thing. Scheifele's only at 5.5 million.
Well,
it was right before the big boom.
Look at the Flames.
Hey, fucker, get down.
Until Tkachuk got signed, everyone was making less than Giordano, and they had a team that went to the playoffs twice. So that's why I was for McKinnon. I was like,
or Colorado's got to be the front runners for the Stanley Cup.
But we said that last year.
They were really hurt in the playoffs against Dallas, right?
No, I agree.
They still went to Game 7.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And but just looking at their roster, they're deep everywhere. That blue line now, look at that. Not a lot of money tied up in that, but you have.
Well,
could you argue that all those guys? All 6 of those guys are top 4 defensemen.
But they still have to re-sign Taves, though.
Yeah, which is fine. How much cap space do they got? Oh, $6.7 million? It's fucking easy as pie. Other than goaltending.
No, they still have to re-sign Jost.
Jost is going to be under $1 million. Kamenov's going to be under $1 million. What? They could give Devontae's probably 4.5, I'd say, is likely. They're good.
I was thinking 3, but.
You don't understand the market.
Yeah, I do. It's fucking tight.
So, they're the front runners for fucking sure. Okay, Columbus. What do you think of their trade? We're going to probably talk more about it during the Montreal section, but acquiring Max Domi for Josh Anderson. I love it for Columbus.
I agree. Columbus, I think, wins by a long shot. The reason is that realistically, Domi has proven himself way more than Anderson has.
He's got a 70-point season under his belt.
Josh Anderson has proved that he can get hurt.
Yes, and that's why I don't like that deal. I love Josh Anderson when he's as a player.
Yeah, when he's playing, he's great, but I don't know.
But the only problem I see with Columbus's roster is they have too many players. Look at this.
Wow.
So right now they have $12.9 million in cap space because they bought out Wenberg, and it was a genius buyout because he was supposed to make 4.9, but because of his age when he was bought out, they only had to pay out a third. So I looked at the number. I was like, that can't be right. Okay, that's a good buyout, right? Then we come up and see they moved Nutavara for nothing. And they also traded Ryan Murray for only a fifth-round pick. Like that total salary dump. But it's, you know what? It's because they have capable defensemen. Gavrikov, watching him in the playoffs this year, I was like, how did I not notice anything about this guy? He reminds me of somebody.
Oh, yes, him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheshnikov. Yeah.
Somebody.
That's what
I had a fucking comparable at one point. I think I might have talked about it last podcast. No. I think I did. Anyways, he's one of those guys like you don't realize how good he is, and then you watch and you're like, this guy's fucking insane. So he's a real player. But so a lot of that money's going to go to Dubois, right? He's probably what? Do you think Dubois can get $7 million? $6-7 million. Okay. Dubinsky goes on LTIR, so that will also clear up that money. So right there, they have 12 forwards because they brought in Mikko Koivu, they brought back Mikhail Grigorenko, okay? But then you look down here at their non-roster forwards. Liam Foudy played in the playoffs. Alexander Texier was a full-time player. So was Emil Bemstrom. So they got a lot of players.
Yep.
But they've also been hurt a lot lately,
exactly.
right? But that's the only issue I see with Columbus. They're so deep, and I don't know why more free agents don't want to go there. Like, that's an organization I want to play for.
I like what Domi signed for. It's a reasonable amount of money for what he's put up for points.
Yeah.
And he only signs for 2 years, more so because, I don't know, he thinks that maybe he can make bank because he's still unrestricted when he resigns. But it's also maybe because he's like, this roster is deep and they really have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
So he's like, I signed for 2 years and then I, barter and get traded again or whatever, right?
Yeah. But yeah, he was having problems with Julian.
Oh yeah.
Right? So
totally.
It was a good move
it was
for
obvious
him.
in the playoffs.
And also looking at Columbus's goaltenders. Oh. I think any team would kill to have one of those guys. Yeah. So good for them. Now, Dallas, they haven't done a lot. They lost Matthias Jarnmark, and pretty much that's it. They brought in Mark Pysyk.
Yep. And
Kudobin got and that's good. Like having that tandem look at that. You have two guys at under $9 million. $9 million, yeah. So that's good GM. And then
I think they re-signed Perry too.
Probably. I can see that.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, they still have $6 million, 0.6, but Rupe Hintz and Gurianov got to get signed.
Yeah. So
Gurianov had a fucking solid rookie year.
So what? So let's say 4 and 2, and Corey Perry takes $700,000.
Yeah, fair enough. Not a lot to say, but they had a good run, and I'm sure that
they almost won their first Stanley Cup.
All right, the Detroit. That one, I would say. I agree. The foot was in the crease, and I didn't like Brett Hall when he was a player, but I love him as a fucking retired man. He's fucking wild.
He's still celebrating the Blues fucking cup win.
Detroit, they're probably going to be bad again, but they definitely did. I love this part of a rebuild when you bring in guys that are on value contracts, that have something to prove, to fill out the roster, to be good pros. They got a lot of them. Bobby Ryan, happy for him going home.
That's a big thing there, right?
Especially what he went through last year. Obviously, something I can kind of relate to. I don't know how serious his issues were, but it was, it's always a great story. Wins the Masters and then gets bought out, but then you get to go home.
But think about it this way too. I think he could have made more money elsewhere too.
Guaranteed.
So I assure you, it was I'm going home.
Yeah.
Kind of deal, right?
Nemestikov is actually Yzerman's draft pick when he was in Tampa, so nice
And
to
they
see him
re-signed him
bringing him
for
back.
$2 million. So
Yep. And Sammy Gagne gets a contract there. I was really happy for him.
I was kind of shocked that it was Detroit that re-signs him.
Yeah, but he knows a thing or two about playing on a shit team and being a good pro.
Yeah,
it's
you're
true.
not wrong. You're not
so
wrong.
I think that, also Yzerman fucking already traded him. Because Edmonton traded him to Tampa for Teddy Purcell,
right,
the first time, and then
That's
he
right.
immediately
And then he went
shipped him to Arizona along with a 6th-round pick, to get rid of him. So he's like, and then he trades for him again. He's like, in the Athanasio deal, and he's like, sorry, kid, you're just never gonna play in the playoffs. Okay? So give him a contract. They also brought in Mark Stahl, Troy Stetzer, John Merrill, and Thomas Greiss between the pipes. Which poor Greiss, you're going from the best defensive team in the league to the worst. Good luck, buddy. Hope you enjoy your retirement gig.
But what do you think Mantha gets?
Mantha, well, if it's Yzerman negotiating, he's fucking tough. But they can afford it. So, he's going to get at least 6. He was almost a point per game player on that team last year when he got hurt is when the wheels fell off.
Yeah, when he got hurt.
He's probably at least worth 6.
So let's say 6 and Bertuzzi goes in at probably comparable to Mangiapane at 2.4, 2.5.
No, Bertuzzi's going to get way more than Mangiapane.
Nope, I don't think so.
$4 million at least.
No way.
I'd say 4 times 4.
I guess he shines a lot better on that team because
that
team sucks.
Yeah. But him and Larkin have chemistry, so that's where they play. I'm always right, Brad.
Except when you're wrong.
Grab me one. All right. Everybody strap on them boots. We're talking Edmonton Oilers. And let's see if Brad can ask good enough questions about this team.
Why does your team suck with that roster?
We don't. We're pretty good. Edmonton, obviously, I would say with the amount of cap space we had, I was impressed with what
Holland last season or in this free agency.
For free agency. Because Puljujärvi coming back and getting him on a 2-year deal at that number, I thought was huge. I thought that at most he would sign a 1-year deal so we could get out. But it sounds like Holland just did the fucking slow play and said, kid, if you're going to make an NHL career, you're going to do it with us.
Yeah.
And even if you don't want to stay here after a couple of years, I'm going to get value for you.
Right. Yeah.
Or he fizzles right out.
I think at 1.7 or 1.1, sorry, this year's bad for him. They can still move him to Columbus.
Another
chances are
another reclamation project. So he's solid. Tyler Ennis comes back at $1 million. That was solid because he was a great fit, local boy. He became good buddies with McDavid, quick friends they were.
Oh yeah.
During the quarantine, there was videos on McDavid's girlfriend's Instagram, and Ennis and it was just like him and McDavid had inside jokes. Like they were laughing their asses off together. So
they're high.
Yeah, maybe, but hey, to each their own. Hey, you had a fucking serious injury. You got to heal that with cannabis.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And then Kyle Turris coming in for 3C, which is, I had my eyes set on Eric Halla. I didn't even think that Turris was going to be on the market because he just got bought out before that. But coming into Edmonton, that's pretty solid. That was the right shot center. If you follow Brian Burke's plan, you need to have a right shot third line center.
Well,
and Brian Burke
clearly
knows shit.
Someone read it.
You have to fucking check out this book. I lost my place, but I'm here, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, I think for your forward group, though, do they look at moving Jujhar Khaira?
I hope so.
Because
Pizza Boy, which, by the way, isn't racist. We have to – this is a season one joke. We just said he's a good person, and apparently good people signed up for a contract with Bell, never missed a payment. They
paid their rent on time.
Yeah, paid their rent on time, and they deliver pizza on the weekends. It's not because he's of Punjabi descent. We just want to be very clear. We don't want to get sued. We're not xenophobic. We're not racist. We're not homophobic. We're not fascists. If fascist rhymed with racist, that would have been so much cooler.
It does rhyme.
If it was fascist.
Fascist, racist, that rhymes pretty good for me.
No,
I don't have a placard on the wall.
You do not have one. By the way, that's mine.
Just because it's not a lot of money, but it is a lot of money for the player that you have with that contract. And they're going to have to re-sign Yamamoto. So
next year.
I know, but you lose $1 million this year. That's an extra $1 million for Yamamoto. That
Edmonton has
he probably
lot
deserves,
of
right?
Next year, yeah. We'll see how much Yamamoto's going to get too. We'll see.
I don't know. Look how many contracts are UFA next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have a lot of cap space next year because those contracts are expiring.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think Baby Nuge is getting re-upped around $7 million. Here's what I'm hearing: 7 times 8 years.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, but what I love is like our third line pretty much is Ennis, Turris, Puljujärvi. So we were able to put together a brand new third line that can score.
Wow, you hope they can score.
Yeah. We'll see what kind of Puljujärvi shows up, right? That's huge. I think, Ennis can get 40 points.
I do think that Turris can move up to second line center if Nuge gets hurt.
Yeah, well, and that's another reason. Like Edmonton, last year, Riley Sheahan was our third line center. There's not a lot of offense there. He did a great job on the defensive side of things, and was a great penalty killer, right?
That's almost the issue with the third line, though, is you either have a shutdown third line or you have a third line that can produce.
And that was what Edmonton had problems with. We didn't have that much depth. You had the two lines, and then you pretty much Edmonton had 2 first lines and 2 fourth lines last year.
Exactly.
Because Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, Yamamoto were obviously a first line. They were the best line in the league from January until the pause. And then McDavid, doesn't matter who he plays with, that's a first line. Yeah. Right. So I think that they're hoping that they get a scorer there.
The biggest thorn in your side right now is James Neal.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. And his production really, really dropped off. So on that topic,
it did not.
The Flames definitely won that trade.
No, shut up, Brad. No.
Oh yeah,
this is not what we're doing. And he scored 19 goals.
Yeah, in the first 6 games.
Who cares? He still scored 19 goals. Guess how many of those 6 games we won? All of them.
And you still didn't make the playoffs.
We made the playoffs.
And then what did he do for the rest of the season?
Than you.
He got hurt.
Yeah. Well, if he can score 12 goals every first month of the season, I'm cool with that.
And still not make the playoffs. That's great.
We made the playoffs, Brad. That is the playoffs, okay? Fuck the play-in qualifying rounds. We were a playoff team. Okay. That's all, regular season.
You were a playoff team out of 24 teams.
See how nice I am, like when we were evaluating the Flames? I was pretty honest. I even gave compliments.
I'm still being honest.
No, you're not. You're just shitting on my team.
I'm shitting on James Neal.
Go eat a dick. Get over it. He didn't like Calgary, okay? You guys are little bitches.
Completely agree he didn't like Calgary.
Yeah.
He also did nothing while he was there.
Yeah. Do you know what Lucci said as an Oiler?
Nothing.
Yeah.
You know what he did in Calgary?
Nothing.
Hell of a lot more.
No.
Yep.
You guys you're going to be more frustrated. He's only going to get 10 points this year.
Oh, yeah? In the first month, probably.
No. All season.
All right, your defense.
Tyson motherfucking Barrie.
Tyson, I was going to start Darnell Nurse, but not because he's first on the actual list, because I think he's the only player that gets possibly moved during this season.
No chance.
I think so.
Brad, you are so out of touch with my team. Okay.
That's good because I don't want to fucking touch your team.
Oscar Klefbom is probably out for the entire year.
Right.
That makes Darnell Nurse untouchable. On the left side.
If the Oilers are having a shitty year,
we're not moving Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse is going to be a big part of this team for a long time.
All right.
The only way that we would have moved
Ethan
Nurse.
Bear and Caleb Jones is your future.
Yeah, I agree.
Not Darnell Nurse.
No, Darnell Nurse is. He's already wearing a letter on this team.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who's wearing a letter? Joe Thornton, and he now plays for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I don't care. Okay. But let's talk Tyson motherfucking Barrie.
All right. That was a really good signing. I'm actually shocked that he took 1 year.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he would have been like, I want 2 at least, 2 years at least.
He wants to cash in next year.
That motherfucker is going to make 90 points playing the power play with McDavid.
Well, that's the thing. Klefbom was our power play guy.
Yeah.
And we're bringing in a power play specialist to be with those guys. Like, it's almost unfair to the rest of the league.
Right. So you're right.
Can
there.
any other team ice a power play like the Oilers.
No, they can't.
Yeah.
But the downfall is that Tyson Barrie cannot play defense.
That's all right because
and your goaltending cannot stop the puck.
our goaltending wasn't actually that bad last year. Let's say that.
When it's even strength, because let's say there's an average of 3 to 4 power plays a game, and Mike Smith's in net, you have Mike Smith playing defense.
Reminding me that Mike Smith is still
because Tyson Barrie is playing forward.
Yes. First of all, our goaltending wasn't that bad last year.
But it wasn't
During
great.
the regular season, it was great.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was not great.
Koskinen had a 9.17.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Mike Smith did not.
How many games did Koskinen play?
Like 38.
There you go. So Mike Smith played the other half.
I know. And I'm thinking that for the love of fucking God, can Koskinen get 3 out of 5 starts instead of 3 out of 6?
He's probably like, I'm too tired, man. I can't do it.
No, I think he can.
I don't know why they tried to split it.
It's because Tippett has a thing for Mike Smith. And one thing that, like, Smith, though, he's a fucking fireball.
Either he plays good or he plays bad. That's always been proven, right?
He's always like I used to not like goalies that got pissed off, but I liked when he would get pissed off in the net.
Dwayne Rollison used to get pissed off all the time. I don't know how you didn't like
recall that. Rollison was always
Rollison anytime the puck was
collected. He had a loose mask.
Holy fuck.
Brad, I don't think
it used to drive me absolutely nuts.
Really? And his neck beard was fucking gorgeous.
Fuck.
I love Rolly, man. I fucking miss the dude.
But anyway, so what do you think Ethan Bear gets?
Probably under $2 million on a bridge deal. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have given him the Clefbaum deal. Like when Clefbaum was his age, he signed the deal he has now, 7 years. Yeah. Because Ethan Bear, I think, can be at his best. At his full potential, he could be a guy making over $7 million at some point.
From an agent standpoint, he's probably pushing for a bridge deal.
But right? Because he doesn't have arb rights,
so
he doesn't have much of a hammer, and we don't have the cap space. We got to make a move, but I guess pretty much Clefbaum going on LTIR is what it
stuff
is.
Coming off the books, so because look at next year, even Adam Larson and Chris Russell are gone. Right?
Yeah, and they'll probably be, if they do re-sign, they'll be at lower numbers than they have now. I
can't see them re-signing Chris Russell. Can you see that?
I can.
Yeah, I guess I thought you don't have a goalie, so they need Chris Russell to stop the puck.
You guys know you just gave Chris Tanev. He's your new Chris Russell, right?
No, he's not our new Chris Russell.
Yes, he is. No. Everybody.
Just because they have the same first name does not make them the same person.
It's not even spelled the same. Yeah.
So yeah, we really don't have to talk about your goalies because I kind of ruined that for you.
Yeah. Playing wasn't playoffs. Really, people? Really, people? Oh, it's kind of cool to get a comment. Thanks. And Greeno. I think he meant I should go and shit on that Calgary fan sitting next to me.
The fact that he put Smith instead of shit explains how great of a goalie he is.
That's classic. Oh, it's good stuff. Good stuff. All right.
Moving on,
but we got we got to really plow through these.
We'll plow.
Florida, $11 million in cap space.
Well, just about 12, but yeah.
Only additions: Vinny Hinostroza, Alex Wenberg, Carter Verhaeghe, Ryan Lomberg.
Yep.
Isn't that an old flamer?
Yep. He was a free agent this year.
Oh, really? Hey, he got a 2-year deal too.
He's a Zach Ronaldo. So he may play this year in.
You guys kept Ronaldo too, didn't you?
But he was good.
He's a nice hair.
Before you go to defense, I think Florida's in a discussion to re-sign Hoffman. They have to be with that much cap space. They have to.
Yeah, and but they also have Grigory Denisenko and Owen Tippett probably make the club.
Right, but they have just about $12 million.
Oh yeah.
Right? So.
But I gotta say, their GM. Zito.
Yep.
Look at all the guys he brought back from Columbus. He got Nudavara. He knows him.
Yep.
Wenberg. He knows him.
Yep.
And Wenberg's a good player. The only reason he was taken out, he was under Tortorella. He was solid. He's not a $4.9 million guy. Coming over to Florida at 2.2.
Yep.
He could play second line center for that team.
And
and the trade with Pittsburgh.
I
Moving
almost forgot about
Mike
that.
fucking Matheson for Hornquist. Like, Jim Rutherford's going senile, man.
Did you see the pictures of fucking Hornquist stuff on his driveway?
Oh, yeah, just fucking throws it out.
Yard sale, legit, like.
That's great. Oh, they also sent Radko Gudas. Fuck, they made
Yeah,
a lot of moves.
And they signed him for,
3 years.
$2.5 million.
Yeah. I love Gudas.
Yeah. Good as cheese.
Okay,
but I'll be honest, the only thing I don't know is their goaltending. Oh, look, it's there.
Oh, I thought were you being sarcastic?
No, I didn't know who their backup was.
Oh. Yeah, their backup had like a 925 save. Dreger came out of nowhere, 925. Bobrovsky's fucking putting up under 900. I think he'll bounce back this year too. So Florida's actually a team I keep an eye on. I didn't realize they made that many good moves, but I forgot that Zito's over there. And if you like, I'm a big believer that motherfucking Kekalainen is a genius. So being under him has been pretty insane.
LA, $13.6 million.
Yep, and guess what? They signed nothing. They traded for Oli Mata, and that's it. Boring.
Yeah, and I still think they're going to try to trade Quick.
HIJKLM. They're not going to trade Quick. They can't.
They're going to retain salary for sure.
Wild.
Billy Guerin. We need to talk.
Okay,
give us a call.
Koivu out. Zucker went out. Who else went out?
Well, last year he traded
Granlund. No, he didn't trade
Granlund.
No, that was before. That was the other GM, the Granlund for Fiala, and that ended up working.
I thought it was.
No, that was because it was what the fuck was his name? Fenton.
But
Fenton traded for Fiala because he knew him out of Nashville.
Okay, I thought it was Billy.
And he got fired like early.
But Billy sent Teravainen Nino Niederreiter to.
Nope. That was also Fenton.
I'm sure I shit on Billy Guerin for that last year.
No, that was not. Billy Guerin got just hired
I know, but I thought these moves happened just after he got hired.
No.
Okay. But anyways, he got rid of
and then Eric Stahl for Johansson. That's fucked up.
And then
traded for Benito for Luke Kunin. Sure, he got a couple high draft picks. That was the draft and as a Preds fan.
And then he re-signs
Jonas
Brodin for
way too much money.
Twice as much as what he's worth.
Also Carson Soucy. I didn't even know who that guy was, and they gave him a 3-year deal at 2.75.
And he's 26.
Then he trades Devin Dubnyk and Ryan Donato in separate deals to San Jose. We're going to get to San Jose. Fuck me. And then brings in Cam Talbot. But do you think it's a good idea to give a 33-year-old goaltender who's pretty much never been an elite goalie, despite his year, $3.6 million over 3 years? No.
Because my dad used to be a goalie. I hate to say, my dad. But
you say this all the time.
I know. My dad used to be a goalie, and he used to tell me when I was younger watching hockey, and I'd be like, why did they bring Habby Bulin in at 34 years old or 35 years old? And he's like, most goalies are actually in their prime from 30 to 37.
Interesting, because you didn't say that when the Oilers were going to sign Jacob Markstrom.
I'm not agreeing with what my dad said.
You're saying that's what he said.
So, but then I started to look at it, and a lot of those goalies always get that 2-3 year deal at $3 to $4 million. Is it because maybe once they get older, their mobility does slow down a little bit, so they play more positional?
Maybe. It sure didn't happen for Mike fucking Smith.
Yeah, but that guy literally throws himself at the puck, okay? There's always an exception to every rule. So
watching some of those highlights, I watch Oiler highlights and I see Mike Smith.
But at the end of the day, what got Talbot this contract is the playoffs last year with Calgary.
Yeah.
That guy fucking stood on his head. He played phenomenal.
Well, I'm cheering for him because I love Cam Talbot.
Yeah,
he's just a good guy.
Yeah.
Nobody would say a bad thing about him.
And I think,
that guy signs up for 2 contracts with Bell and never misses a payment. That guy delivers pizzas and donaires. He pays his bills in advance. That's how good he is.
And I think, honestly, in a situation where he doesn't get a contract offer, he probably goes back to Calgary and say, hey, I'll take whatever you give me.
No, he'd say it to Edmonton.
No.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't.
All right. So Billy Guerin, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing what you're doing. Montreal Canadiens.
Montreal Canadiens.
All right. They actually, I thought, had a pretty good offseason.
They did, except for
Josh Anderson was an overpay.
You know what? It's not so much the money; it's the term.
Oh yeah, but did you hear? Elliot Friedman said that Josh Anderson told Columbus when they were negotiating before he was traded, "I want either 1 year or seven."
Or 7. I understand, but
and he said the same thing after he gets traded. So Keckelaine is probably like, "Well, get fucked."
Right, but in Montreal's situation, why didn't they give him 1 year?
Because then he could walk right to free agency.
So what?
You're right. That makes sense. Yeah, Bergeron was too busy crying about signing Gallagher. Did you see that?
I've seen that. I was like, oh
my wife was like,
fuck.
we just finished up some work at the farm, and we were just sitting in the farmhouse, and she gets a notification that Bergevin gets emotional talking about Gallagher, and I'm like, that's clickbait. We watch her like, he's really getting emotional. What the fuck? Like,
the thing I see was like, this is not clickbait. Bergevin gets emotional.
Yeah. And
so I guess the funny part about that trade is Josh Anderson and Max Domi were golfing together.
Yeah, they're buddies.
When they got traded
together
for
at the
each
London
other.
Knights. Yeah. That's pretty interesting. Can you imagine that?
So who got the text
They're
first?
like sitting there joking. They're sitting there on the last screen.
Could you imagine if you played for Montreal?
It's like, how about this? We'll try and we'll get our GMs to trade for each other if I miss this putt, bitch. Like, fuck. But, yeah, Gallagher gets an extension. I like that. He's a heart and soul guy. I get getting emotional over a guy like that. I don't really, but I get it.
Yep.
But Tyler Toffoli coming in too. That's a great deal. I don't know about the contract for Petrie at Edmonton.
What do you mean? Like,
I think that, Jeff Petrie's 32.
Right.
And they gave him a 4-year extension after this.
Oh, yeah, okay.
At over $6 million. And sure, he's a great player. I love Petrie. Obviously, another great move by the Edmonton Oilers, you know. Marco Wash, you're doing a lot for us.
They're probably sitting there looking at Weber, who's older, making more money, right?
Yeah. Man, there's going to be some.
Wow. Just going back to Toffoli for a second. We totally forgot with Calgary that they also signed Louis Domingue.
Oh, who cares?
No. So now
Edmonton signed Seth Griffith, Alan Quine, and Anton Forsberg. Do you want to talk about those?
No, just let me finish my fucking sentence. Now that Toffoli signs the contract, how many empty name bars are there in the Vancouver dressing room at this point?
Quite a bit. We'll get there.
Yeah. And then they got
Jake Allen.
Yeah.
Which was a weird thing when it happened. And then they re-upped him.
Yeah.
Before he's played the game for them. First of all, I thought that Jake Allen would probably want to be a number one somewhere.
So my thought is that, okay, you haven't actually seen him play for your club.
Yeah.
And you sign him for 3 years for fucking –
to be a backup to the best goalie in the league.
Right. But
like,
they're
arguably
playing –
someone who
this year they're playing – that tandem is almost $11 million. Or almost $15 million.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sick math. Math guy, Brad.
I was so good at it, math. In grade 3.
He says through a speech impediment.
Like, their defense is at 23.8.
Yeah, I don't know how they have money. But they still have – oh, yeah. They're capped out. Fair enough. They're done there. All right. Over to the Nashville Predators. Buying out Kyle Turris. They obviously are – I think the David Poyle's magic's running out. I'm sorry. The only addition that they can make was Brad Richardson. And I must say their blue line now is one of the best in the league again. Their top 4 was always solid. And now Benning – who I'm gonna miss, but he wanted to move on and get a more opportunity.
And Mark
Borowiecki.
Borowiecki?
That guy who's probably so fucking excited to get away from Eugene Melnyk.
Yeah.
My God. But we have nothing more to say about them.
I do think Rene's on his down though.
Yeah, but
so
1 year left.
No, I know, but I'm just saying
Saros can hold on until Askarov ready.
Maybe. I'm just saying they might be looking for another goalie in the interim.
New Jersey.
How much money do they have?
A lot.
Holy fuck. $18 million? Oh, they borrowed Schneider.
Adding Ryan Murray for a 5th-round pick, solid. Corey Crawford,
Smart.
solid.
Corey Crawford at 3.5.
9.
3.9.
Are you blind?
I'm guessing, and I am blind, yes.
And then Andreas Janssen for Joey Anderson.
Yep.
Taking advantage. And they still have money. Like,
maybe Hoffman signs there.
maybe. Like, I don't know what kind of year they're trying to have, but, like.
Scroll down, though. They have quite a few players that aren't. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about. Let's just be honest here. There's only a few teams we could have talked about, and I feel like trying to go through all of them like this was a little misconstrued. No additions here.
Oh, you're going to say the team?
Oh, the New York Islanders.
And they
great
almost
run.
have $9 million of cap space. So
yeah,
now, the Rangers are actually in the red.
No, they have $10 million. That's their bonus cushion.
What?
So they.
Sorry, no. When you scrolled by, it looked like.
Yeah, no, they have $10 million in space, and they're actually spending $12.9 million in dead cap space.
But if you scroll through that team, there's a hell of a lot of people making less than $1 million.
Oh yeah, because they're all young.
Yeah, that is insane. And they have Strome that's going to probably make, well, 2.
No, dude, he had a 60-point season.
I know, and he's sitting on a team where half of them are half his age.
Yeah, but he clicked with Panarin, so
yeah, he did.
Good for him. Ottawa Senators still $20 million in cap space, and we're like, are they ever going to do anything? They finally signed Dadonov
and Matt Murray.
Oh, that is a big move. Yeah, Matt Murray.
Yeah,
and gave him pretty good money for a guy who had a really bad year. But then again, a lot of people are shitting on this move, and it's like, well, he's won 2 Stanley Cups.
In their situation, that was a great move.
You need a goal. I kind of wish they would have kept Craig Anderson.
I think
understand.
if they didn't have Anders Nielsen already there as a backup,
yeah,
they
probably would have.
Yeah.
But they're a team that they're going to be fun to watch because I bet you there's a lot of young guys going to be there. A lot of young talent.
I can't believe they're still paying Gabrick 4.8 though.
I forget that Gabrick's still a thing.
That's not even their buyout. That's their IR.
Yeah. And they still have the Bobby Ryan and Dion Phaneuf buyouts. It's just funny seeing some players that are on
holy
contracts.
fuck. I did not realize they had $20 million left.
Yeah. Well, Connor Brown and Tierney are going to take up at least 5 of that.
Yeah, that's still $15 million. So.
Yep. But they'll probably spend only to the floor, right? Mm-hmm. And Eugene Melnyk.
Most definitely, they will be. Because they're going to hand out gift cards that aren't activated.
Yeah. Still going to bring it. Okay, we don't even need to click on Philly because
they didn't do anything.
They did one thing.
They re-signed Nolan Patrick.
Did they?
Yeah, for $850, I think.
Oh, you're right. He did get a contract. Good for him. Elliott's coming back.
Yeah.
Why not? Probably the only thing that was interesting is Niskanen retiring.
Yeah.
But he's one of the first guys to go because of COVID, I think.
You think that's why?
Yeah, he just didn't want to take a risk and go through the limbo like that again. He won his cup. He's had a great career. He made a lot of money.
I figured I was just a matter of his age. And he's like, well, I can go home and play and finish off my career there, right?
Where?
Niskanen?
Home?
Yeah.
What's home?
Beer league?
Oh. I was like, he's
American?
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's not like Scandinavian. I'm gonna go. That's what you made it sound like.
Sorry, I was just trying to be sarcastic.
Okay. Their only addition was Eric Gustafsson, $3 million.
Yeah, and I was actually really hoping the Flames were gonna be able to make a deal with him because
I think he owes the Oilers at least 1 year in the NHL, just like Toby Reeder did. We drafted Toby Reeder. He fucked off, and then we traded him for Cale Kessie. Stay hot, Tambellini. He became a player, then he comes back to us when he's not a player, then he leaves us and he becomes a player again. Gustafsson, he was our pick, 4th round pick. We didn't think we should sign him because he obviously had potential. And then, of course, he has a 60-point season, ends up getting traded to Calgary at some point because everybody's got to go to Calgary. I just love the variety of drinks you're having right now.
He looked really great on the power play, which is something that was lacking. So that's why I hope they re-signed them, but obviously it didn't work.
Yeah, did not.
All right.
Pittsburgh Penguins are a fucking mess.
All right, okay, before we even start, I seen this yesterday on Twitter. Is Malkin still an elite player?
Yes.
Okay. That's I said the same thing.
Over a point per game player every time. Like, how do you not say he's not elite? He's injured a lot. That's the problem.
So is Crosby.
Yeah.
Everyone calls him elite, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Good talk.
This is fucking terrible.
Question, is Brian Rust an elite player?
No.
He sure was last year. Okay, question, is Kasperi Kapanen? Fuck. Is Kasperi Kapanen worth a first-round pick?
I think so.
Well, he's going to be on the top 6 on this team.
Exactly. Realistically, think about that. Okay, we're going to draft him, get rid of him, and all it costs me is a first-round pick on a team that's so deep that I can bring him back and play on the top 6.
Fair enough.
I don't think that trade was so bad as the fucking Hornquist trade.
Yeah, that one was bad because Mike Matheson is dog shit, and he's still under contract until 26, 27. Wow, at 4.8. Okay, what the fuck? And the other thing, look at the bottom 2 forwards.
Yeah.
Is there any interesting name there for a Calgary Flame fan?
They just signed him.
Mark Jankowski, yep. Which Sheldon Smith. Who did you know? Sheldon Smith knows everything.
He knows everything.
And he's the best person in the world because he has the best moral compass.
Yep.
Anyways, that's just I haven't fucking shit on that piece of shit person yet.
Jankowski,
my nemesis,
was in a situation where Calgary, where he was drafted in midgets.
Yeah. And Jay Feaster said it's very realistic that in 6 years he'll be the best player from that draft.
Yeah, exactly. So I've seen this lots, and I have to agree with it. He was put in an unrealistic position right from the time he was drafted with Calgary.
Had a good 31-point season at one point.
Right. But
the bottom fell out?
No, it's not the bottom fell out. It's just that when they drafted him midgets, you can't tell me that you know what kind of player he's going to be through juniors or college and then get to the NHL, right? So he goes to Pittsburgh, where I guarantee you maybe some people in the dressing room don't know who the fuck he is. And he probably has a decent year for Mark Jankowski standards, you know?
Okay. I just want to see. You're a little more bullish on him than every other Flames fan on Twitter. So I'm proud of you. Goaltending, it's Jari's team now.
Yep.
And DeSmith, obviously, was the backup, and then they actually had to put him on waivers because Jari was too good.
Yeah.
And now he gets to come back.
Well, Matt Murray was hurt. Mm-hmm. That's how DeSmith came up.
But, they had to buy out Jack Johnson, which everyone knew they were gonna.
Yep. Because
all I hear is that he's the worst defenseman in NHL history.
Oh, really?
Well, according to people on Twitter, including Sheldon Smith. And like I said, he knows everything.
He knows everything. All right. The almighty San Jose Sharks.
Bringing back Patrick Marleau.
I was happy to see that.
He's 45 games or something away from being the league history most game. Fuck, that's insane.
If he can play 50 games this year, or even if it's over the next 2 years.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer.
He is. But that's the only reason he's playing. And he'll retire after that. I assure you.
He still wants a cup, though.
I agree. But if you really, really, really wanted a cup, would he have signed in San Jose?
No.
Exactly. So I think it's going back to what you know, being comfortable with it, and just gliding through the end of your career.
Yeah. But that's going to be a great story to watch. I couldn't imagine. I didn't even think about that, like that someone would beat Gordie Howe's record.
You would never think that, considering he was playing at 50.
Yeah. Well, 41.
It's not going to take him 9 years to play 40 games.
But how many games could he play if he played another 9 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, he still looks like he's in great shape.
The thing is,
he's going to run out of his custom skates, though.
Those quality players that play till they're 40 or 41 are hockey smart, right? So they may be athletically capable of keeping up to the game, but they don't have to because they know how to read the game, right? So that's Patrick Marleau is really good for that. Like, he'll play 15 minutes a game and be happy with it.
Yeah, apparently Erik Karlsson is 100% healthy, and if he is, that could be the difference between this team making the playoffs or not.
Very close. You're 100% right there.
But I don't think I don't know.
The fact is that now
it's so much money for him.
Dubnyk is actually going to take over the starting role.
Well, yeah, because Jones is fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
But Dubnyk was dog shit last year, so I think it's a bold strategy.
But yeah.
And Ryan Donato was their other ad in the trade, which I think was a pretty good pick because he had 20 goals, all even strength.
I think San Jose wins that by a mile.
And also another good play by them, giving Kevin Labanc the money. Because he gave him a discount. He has a 60-point season. They signed for $1 million because he was going to help the team win the cup. Bottom fell out, and a lesser GM or a lesser man would have gone back on that promise.
So I guess just to add to this, we talked about this for sure in the past. Remember when Barclay Goodrow got traded for a first-round pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barclay won.
Barclay did win. He did pretty good. All right.
That's about it from San Jose.
And St. Louis, did they do anything?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They kind of lost somebody.
And they got someone.
You're right. Sorry. It all kind of runs together. Yeah. First of all, what defense group would you rather have? Would you have a top four that has Alex Pietrangelo, Colton Parayko, Joel Edmondson, and Vince Dunn? Or Justin Falk, Torrey Krug, Colton Parayko, and Marco Scandella?
I would go with number 2.
I would go with number 1.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
Know. That's why I said number 2.
Why?
So we had something to talk about.
Oh. Do you actually disagree?
No, I don't actually.
Okay, well, then don't. Just tell me the truth. I was setting you up to sound smart, and you just changed it. Justin Falk is a dog shit player. Torrey Krug, good player. I'll give him thumbs up. Parayko, amazing. He's already there. When you have Parayko and Pietrangelo, you don't need to go out and get a Justin Falk.
No.
That made no sense. And then when you get Scandella, you give him a deal right away. And then the guy who literally led you to your first Stanley Cup, you're going to let him walk.
Yep.
They let him walk.
I guess on that aspect, I would rather have Vegas's defense core now.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Vegas.
We're going to talk about Vegas.
I'm pretty sure that there was multiple shooters. Oh, you don't want to talk about Vegas like that?
I do, but not at this moment.
Not on this podcast. That'll be a new show someday.
So, yeah. I seen a thing today on Jordan Bennington, and the year that he won a cup, his save percent or his goals against was 2.45. In the last 6 years prior, the cup winners or the cup contenders, their goaltenders were around 2.1.
Oh, yeah.
And last year was not a great year for St. Louis as a whole, right? We kind of expected them to go further into the playoffs than they did.
Yeah, and they got beat by a younger, faster team.
The question is he the next Hamburger? What do they call him? Andrew Hammond. Anyways.
Yeah, I know the Hamburglar. Fucking Hamburglar. Remember when he was with Colorado and had to come in?
No, it's for Ottawa.
No, I know, but after that,
yes.
You could hear Nathan McKinnon run in and fucking Hamburglar.
But anyways, so it's a bold comparison, but maybe he's not as good as that playoff run showed because they had a good team in front of them.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of cases like that where that happens. So the good thing
Matt Murray might be one of those too.
Exactly, but he did it twice and looked unstoppable. But hey, stranger things have happened.
That's right.
Cam Ward came from out of fucking nowhere to win a Conn Smythe Trophy against his childhood team, motherfucker, in 2006. Fuck you.
Okay, bye. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, tricked ya. Tampa Bay. They haven't done nothing because they can't. They brought back Maroon and Shen.
Right, and apparently they quietly asked Stamkos if he would move his.
Yep, which fair enough. They can win without him.
And they put fucking
Tyler Johnson on waivers, and he cleared for free. You get this guy for free.
Well, you got to pay his contract.
Yeah,
but still,
why doesn't Ottawa just be like, all right?
I don't know. I couldn't believe it.
No, when I seen he was on waivers, like, that's fucked up. I thought they were buying him out, and then I heard, no, it's not to buy him out. No. It's just someone take him for free. But couldn't do it. Like, what are they going to do? Like, look at this.
They
have 2.8.
guys.
They have to sign Cirelli, Chernak, and Sergachev.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
So,
and they also went to Killorn, who they said they don't want to
But
move.
I guess that still includes Johnson on their...
Yeah, he's back up here, yeah. So, really, like, one of those, like, it's got to be Palat's got to get moved, or Gord's got to get moved, or Johnson's got to get moved, or Cirelli and Sergachev have to be dealt for, like, prospects.
Cirelli played unreal last year. I don't know if they could trade him.
But like you said, like, that's the thing that sucks about winning the cup. Like, they talked about Breezeball. It's like, he paid, like, when he brought in Coleman and brought in Gaudreau for first-round picks, it's like, that's a lot. But you win, and then you don't care. But then you build a roster like this, and now you got to immediately cut it down.
But Gaudreau's not even making $1 million, and Coleman is making, what, 1.8?
Yeah, so those guys are fine. Yeah. Having Patty Maroon back, solid. And, like, they got guys ready to come up and take over. Yep. So it just sucks. You got to break up the team. But their problem is they have those clauses, right? Yep. So, yeah. Or you trade Braden Point.
Fuck, I wouldn't do that.
You do not trade Braden Point. I was testing you. All right.
Okay.
But, like, that's all you can say about them. So, it's going to be tough, but you guys got a cup. Toronto.
We're not going to talk about
fucking Maple Leafs. All right, good enough. Moving on.
Okay, bye.
I kind of wish that's where the podcast actually ended if we didn't have nothing else to say. Because that would have been great. Every Leafs fan that listens, like, I'm going to get through these Western fucks to see what they say about the Leafs. It's finally time. Okay, bye. All right. Toronto bringing in TJ Brody and Wayne Simmons.
And Joe.
And Jason Spezza returns. And Jumbo Joe Thornton today.
And he had a no movement clause.
Oh, that's bullshit. Well, of course.
I know.
He kind of earns it, I think. Oh! Fuck!
I did see a thing today that said, wow, Kyle Dubas has the best line from 2010.
Yeah. I think it was Steve Simmons.
Maybe.
He tweeted that the Toronto Maple Leafs were really trying to win the cup in 2012. And it's like, that guy's an asshole, but that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. TJ Brody, he got the money he deserved. I think he's worth $5 million. Yeah, good for him. That's about it.
Yeah, they're still obviously in cap hell.
Yep.
And, okay, what do you think of them bringing in Aaron Dell? Gets a one-way deal. He was a good backup. I thought serviceable.
I honestly thought that San Jose was in a situation where they signed Dubnyk because they're getting rid of Jones and Dell was going to be their backup.
Oh, yeah. But, no, I just found it was weird that he got a one-way deal. But apparently they were talking about on Hockey Central that that since Toronto's farm team is in Toronto, having a guy like that, it's easy access if they have an injury.
I guess so, but on a one-way deal, he's sitting there doing nothing.
He's starting in the AHL.
Yeah, I know. But...
I know. And if the AHL doesn't get going, then obviously it's like having three goalies. And there's rumors that teams will be allowed to carry three goalies, right?
I think they should allow that.
Yeah.
But there's also talks that Canadian teams have an AHL team that's in the U.S.
Yeah.
Is going to be allowed to bring those teams to Canada.
There's a lot of, and also the All-Canadian division.
That would be fucking sweet.
You have like 10 battles of Alberta.
12 is what it would be. But anyways, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It would water down the American teams, though. They'd have to do 3 divisions. Is what I would assume.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyways.
Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, fuck Toronto. Moving on.
Right, Vancouver Canucks we don't have to talk about because they don't have anyone left on their team.
Yeah, the only thing they did was get in Braden Holtby.
Yeah,
gets Nate Schmidt for pennies on the dollar.
Okay, so with Braden Holtby, not expected at all.
Really? I knew that was going to happen.
The talk is he's going to go to Edmonton or Calgary because it's close to home, right? So any other talk was kind of watered down. He
didn't like the Oilers when he was a kid.
He got offered. Apparently, he was offered something from Edmonton.
No.
And he turned it down.
Offered is different. There was discussions.
Okay, whatever.
But that's a good move because you're bringing Holtby. He doesn't get the no movement clause, so he's the goalie that you expose in the expansive draft, and you get to keep Demko.
Right, exactly. And it's a 2-year contract, so that Demko has this season
to get mentored
himself,
and split, and then next year take it on.
Exactly.
He can obviously do it.
Yep.
Right? But getting Nate Schmidt for pennies on the dollar.
Oh, fuck you, Vegas. Fuck you.
Yeah. Vegas is actually a team worth talking about.
They still have a few issues up front, Vancouver. But
I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be a good team, but they didn't get better.
No, that's what I mean, right?
Markstrom is a better goalie than Demko sure, Demko had an amazing run, but that happens.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think,
over the full body of work, Markstrom was better.
And I think Markstrom's better than
and you lost to Foley
in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Holtby's been shit. Other than winning the cup, Like, seriously,
yeah, I know.
The regular season he was shit, and then he won a cup. Anyways. Vegas.
They literally have
zero
cap space. And they can get fucked.
When they got Pietrangelo, they had no money.
So think about this. Before even they signed Pietrangelo,
they were over the cap.
They were over the cap. And they don't have to expose anyone in the expansion draft.
I think that's bullshit.
It's fucking horseshit, right?
It's like, what's happened? They're going to lose a player and ruin their team? They've been like the most successful expansion franchise in fucking history in the world.
In the last 3 years, they've been the most successful team. Last year, Tampa Bay, who won the cup this year, got swept by Columbus. St. Louis wins the cup last year. They lose in the first round this year. You can't tell me that Vegas has had their woes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, pretty fucked up.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I loved. Remember the first year you cheered for Vegas, you were happy for them. Yeah. Second year, you're like,
this isn't so funny.
This isn't fun. And then it's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Yeah. Your long-suffering fan base. Eat a dick.
So now
everyone's and hates him. And also, like, they're saying even the players in the room are like, what the fuck? Like, all these guys, they're buddies, they're teammates that are like sold on this idea of going to a great place and building a culture, and then it's just like they're just gonna go and replace you with the biggest shiny fish in there because they can.
Yeah. So
no state tax. You're in Sin City. You got a winning team. Everybody wants to go there, and all their fans are just like, wow, another amazing player, another amazing hockey. I don't see why other teams get upset. They're like looking at Buffalo fans and Edmonton fans like, I don't know what you guys are complaining about. This is pretty easy. It's like, get fucked.
So Pietrangelo takes all of their extra money, which they didn't actually have.
But they didn't need him.
So my thought was, the rumors he went, well, it wasn't a rumor. He went there, literally flew there. And
probably didn't wear a mask.
And I'm thinking, how the fuck are they going to sign him? Like, how are they going to sign him? And then it dawned on me. They don't have a fucking cap.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
But literally, them getting Pietrangelo meant they had to get rid of Stastny.
Right. Which they did.
And they had to get rid of Schmidt. So, and that, again, third or fourth round pick and a tweener defenseman. So it's no value, but they're like, who cares? We'll just sign the best player. So they can afford to get rid of guys for pennies on the dollar. But the weakness in Vegas is what you're going to say, right?
No.
Oh, I thought you were about to say look.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say look at what happens in 2 years. They have expiring contracts or players getting older, and they all have no movement clauses or modified no movement clauses.
And there's a lot of big money players there, okay?
Yeah.
But look at where I see a problem. Down the middle.
Well,
isn't it okay? You can have the best wingers in the league. You can have some of the best defensemen in the league, and you can have two really good goalies, which is all stuff they have.
Right, but here's the
down
argument.
The middle. They have William Karlsson.
But here's the argument: we'll trade him for pennies on the dollar to get someone else.
Yeah,
it's as if that other GMs bow down to Vegas and be like, "Yeah, sure."
Well, I remember after they signed Pietrangelo, everyone's like, "Don't help him. Just nobody do it."
Exactly.
Like. Even they're gonna have to put someone on waivers like Tyler Johnson. Don't help. You didn't help Tampa because they won. You want to help them? And then it was just like seconds later, it's fucking Vancouver helps them. Like fuck you.
But now they got two goalies making $12 million, which is actually less than Montreal. But they have Marc-Andre Fleury, who probably fucking hates the team.
Yeah. Like,
so, it could get to the point where it's not so much the talent they have on the team, but could be the animosity in the room that causes them to fail.
I hope the bottom comes out and they end up being a lottery team like they should have been from the fucking beginning.
Yeah.
Eat it.
And what the worst part is Seattle's going to come into the expansion draft, and they're going to be better than Vegas.
I hope so. No, I'm not going to cheer for Seattle.
Me either. Not after what I learned with fucking Vegas.
Yeah. I cheered hard against them in the playoffs this year.
Me too.
All right, we're almost there. Washington Capitals. What did they do? Justin Schultz, fucking Norris Trophy potential Justin Schultz. He could finally do it. And Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who I don't know why people say this guy's good because he's never
moved around a lot.
Good. 7 defenseman. Yeah. I don't know what he did.
And they signed Lundqvist.
Which
awesome.
Fucking awesome. Yeah. I hope that they win the cup this year. I want Hank to get his cup.
Me too.
And Ovi getting another cup would just be fun for everybody.
Fuck yeah.
And I hope they beat Vegas in the Stanley Cup Final.
Again. So I can see those tits.
Fuck yeah. Love it. I love it. Didn't even know we were going there. Almost like we planned that. That was awesome.
Cool.
I'd high five you if we were supposed to be social distance. Yep. And finally, Winnipeg Jets.
So they're pretty much back to where they were 2 years ago.
Yeah. They have the best goalie in the league.
Except they signed Derek Forbort.
Yeah, apparently not good, hey?
No.
And DeMello re-signed. So, their blue line needed – like, last year, their blue line was fucking hurting. Morrissey shows that he can be a top-pairing guy. Pionk, solid offensively. And then they bring in DeMello at the trade deadline. He's a good fit. Get him re-signed. Obviously, still not having Bufflin, and that whole fiasco hurts. But, bringing in Stastny, I think, is huge because he clicked with Laine.
It really filled that hole that they were missing when they played Calgary last year in the play-in round, right? On Laine, though, there's still a lot of discussion that he wants to get moved.
Yeah. So, Peggy Parents-Lee is not very nice. You couldn't just wait. We're, done, Brad. You couldn't even say, okay, bye?
Okay, bye.
Well, no, that's not good enough. It's gotta be better than that. Holy hell. I am talking about Patrick Laine. I honestly still think that Patrick Laine has the potential to be way better than Austin Matthews, and I've been praying for that since that fucking draft happened. Obviously, Matthews has shown that he's a little bit better, but I'm not going to give any of you Leaf fans listening the joy of talking about your team because every time I click on fucking Hockey Central, it's about 35 fucking minutes of fodder about the Toronto fucking Maple Leafs. So I'm going to talk about Patrick Laine is better than Austin Matthews. How do you think about that? It's really hard to do this by myself. Yeah, fair enough. I know. I always love listening to a podcast after the fact when I know I go pee and I actually don't hear what you're saying, just to hear you ramble on. It's awkward as fuck. Okay. All right, the only other news I can talk about. NHL 21 came out today. I haven't played yet. Well, I played a little bit. I played one period in the demo version because I'm still downloading, and I'm pretty good at it.
Cool, I'm not.
You're about to find out how bad you are.
Cool.
Remind me I'm wearing contacts.
Hey, don't forget you're wearing contacts.
All right, we've done it.
Cool.
So we are going to I guess we have 3 different things we're using this time. It's the first time we've ever done this. So
all right, so we'll cut out the Audacity first.
Well, now you just give away our secrets. Cut off the audio part, cut off the video part on YouTube, and then we'll let you guys can see all the good stuff on Facebook Live.
Cool.
What happens after we're done recording.
Right.
All right. So thanks for listening to the Chuck and Nucks podcast.
Okay, bye.
Holy fuck. Oh, we're still going on the video.
We're
Hold
still-
on. What's up? It's so weird. The video just doesn't look as good here.
Hopefully I wasn't saying like this the whole fucking podcast.
You might have. Who cares?